So now I come down into the real world from the clouds. I exist in the clouds. Now they see me out the country. It's Red Pill. He's real. He came down from the clouds. Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tore the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your hands in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We upping and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crash. Infected the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley received.
Down into the real world from the clouds. I exist in the clouds. Now they see me out the country. It's Red Pill. He's real. He came down from the clouds. Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, tore the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We upping and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crash. Infected the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Watching the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Sacred self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lean. The hunger was biting, biting.
Do not allow anything to take you off of your square. It's the same thing like what we see right here. Yeah, it's cloudy, yeah, it's misty, but it ain't gonna stay like that forever.
And I was being heavily influenced by the culture that I was seeing on 125th Street. I was beginning to have a second cultural awakening. I was also immersed into consciousness. So as I was learning more about myself, I decided that I wanted to look like how I was thinking. All of these things began to activate like ancestral DNA. I began to have visions and dreams. So the vision that I had was a group of us walking down the street with King Tut on our chest. Same way that we would walk 100 deep with the big horse, Ralph Lauren, the cookies, you know, the silk crest, you know what I mean, the ski man, the suicide. We would rock all of these iconic polo pieces and Ralph Lauren couture. So I'm like, what if we had the same thing, but it was images and motifs of our ancestors?
Hey yo, we got it going on. I bring my together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah, we hit a right all our wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours. Let me know if you can hear me clear on the audio, Yeah, we're going to have a powerful show tonight. Love and light to the family in the building. Let's go ahead and get a few words from our sponsors, and then we are going to begin the show, all right? Love and light to the family in the building. You dig? Peace.
The life around them, the life they come in contact with, the poetry book of the decade. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jarrell Shaw, aka Quality, spelled differently but meaning the same. I'm here to promote my book, Quality Words to Self, to help a person understand the life that they have inside of them, the life around them, the life they come in contact with. The poetry book of the decade, Quality Words to Self, because it's all about quality over quantity, and every single one of us and everything has a certain quality within us that makes it and us what it is, right? So please purchase Quality Words to Self, available at Amazon, Ex Libris, and Barnes & Nobles. With all further ado, tap in.
No cap. No cap.
Healthy so you can get wealthy with True Health Love. We got everything that you need in terms of getting your body right for the fall, for the summer, just everyday wellness. We got herbal products. We got Sabi-inspired meal preps. We got juice preps. And we also have our soul food takeout spot in Southern California. That's right, Alkaline Soul Food in Southern California. Come on down. It's nutritious and delicious. Get healthy so you can get wealthy. TrueHealthLove.com. Peace.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Tonight's show is sponsored by Patreon. Okay, the link is in the description and it's right here on the ticker, Red Pillar, Patreon.com/Red Pillar. This is a community that we've been building up. We have hundreds of members. We started our monthly masterclass series, and we have our master teacher, Ross Ben, teaching a 4-week masterclass entitled A Pivot in Time. Okay, and that is on Wednesdays. Okay, and then we also have I myself, Brother Red Pill. I am also doing a 4-week masterclass, and that is on Sundays. The second class is actually tomorrow, mañana. All right, where we're going to be taking you into the AI toolbox and showing you hundreds of tools that are available right now for your quote unquote productivity and your enhancement of your business and whatnot. Make sure that you tap in to the Patreon. If you want to become a member, you could either do it on a class by class basis, or you could buy your membership for the month, and that would be the SATURN membership. All of the SATURN members get access to the weekly masterclasses, along with the library of masterclasses that we've done over the last 4 months with our teachers, which include and not limited to Chicago Crypto Block Bully, Ra Aku, and also Ross Ben. All right. So make sure you tap into the Patreon, be a part of the community. It's quality over quantity. You dig? So with that being said, love and light, let's start the show. Let's go ahead and go right into roll call. Peace to the family in the building on this Saturn Day. This is an episode of Saturday Night Live. You already know what you already know what it is. You know what it is. You know what I'm talking about? You should know what it is. If you don't know what it is, you'll know what it is by the end of the night. Okay. On this show is all things Saturn. You know what I mean? It's the precursor to the sacrilegious Sunday. A little disclaimer, you know. Shout out to all of the indigos and the star seeds and whatnot. Shout out to the little ones and whatnot. What time is it? I started this show late for a reason. Okay. And it's on a Saturday, and it's Saturday Night Live. So I'm not going to be very explicit, you know, but it is parental advisory moving forward. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not going to be vulgar and belligerent because, to be honest with you, that's not even my stilo. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not a belligerent, vulgar type of person. But I'm a grown man. And it's Saturday, you know what I mean? And this is my Sabbath to get into I tap into my Saturn on Saturn Day. So I just want to be able to flow freely without thinking that I'm cursing out a 1-year-old, you know what I mean, who's listening to the program. So I'm just giving y'all that disclaimer that you know, it's parental guidance. Okay, so I'm just being respectful. Let's go ahead and do the roll call. We got Rome in the building, not Rome, Vatican, but Rome, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to get familiar with Rome, Georgia, my ninjas. We got Milwaukee in the building. We got Portland in the building. We got Mississippi in the building. Brooklyn is here. Florida's here. You feel me? Florida. You know what I mean? I'm gonna light up some of this CBD, get my mind right. This is some medicinal flower. Okay, it will be back on. We got this on the market, and we'll you know, if there's somebody out there that got stores, it's time to start talking business. You know, hit me up. Don't just watch me smoke, my nigga. Be a part of this cloud that we got right here. You know, let's talk business, man. Let's talk big business. Let's talk big business because you know I'm gonna have a conversation about business in a minute, and I'm gonna give you my perspective on some of the things that are being exposed to me, and some of the things that we could benefit from as a collective. Barbados is in the building. Shout out to Barbados. Yeah, them Jason months. They Jasoning. Jason is Jasoning right now. You know what I mean? New Orleans, Chicago, London is in this biatch. Duval is in this biatch. Duval. I just met somebody who used to live in Duval. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Duval. Shout out to Jacksonville. Columbia. Easton. Norfolk. We got Ireland as bitch. We got Toronto up in East St. Louis, Indianapolis, you know what I mean? Atlantic City. We got Maryland up in this thing. North Cac up in this biatch. We got Bam up in this thing. What it do? What up, though? We got Detroit up in this thing. We got Florida, aka land of the flowers. It never rains in Northern California. Cincinnati, shout out to y'all, man. Wisconsin, I see you. Missouri, yeah, Sirius Sage in Augusta. You know what I'm talking about? In Augusta. You feel me? Kansas City. Talk about the phase that we're entering into. We already in there. We in that phase. There's a paradigm shift going down in real time, and the world is shifting, and people are shifting along with it. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Because it's really real. You know, everybody's going through something. Suriname in here. Shout out to everybody going through something. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody going through something. You know, it's a war going on outside, but it's also a war going on inside. Shout out to everybody that's battling something. Shout out to everybody overcoming something. Shout out to everybody going through something. You know what I'm saying? I feel you, I see you, and I hear you, right? Spiritual warfare going on worldwide. We were responsible to our audience. Remember, quality over quantity over here. So we don't hark on numbers because men lie, women lie. So do numbers. We hark on experience and healthy information. We've been saying since the beginning of the calendar year that we would be able to maintain a more healthier mentality collectively and individually if we had our eyes on the prize and if we were informed about information and situations before they ballooned and got out of control and caught us by surprise. Because one of the caveats of consciousness and awareness is similar to what if you were at war or if you were in a fight. If you were in a fight and you got word that somebody was about to hook off and throw a left punch, you could now counter with your defense stance, right? You would know, okay, they're coming from the left. One of the reasons why Floyd Mayweather remains undefeated is because he's good on defense and offense, right? He's mastered both. He could basically read what it is. He could time travel or he could predict time. So if you come in off the left shoulder and whatnot, he knows what you're about to throw and he's able to counter that. That's what consciousness is. That's what Melanin Monday and Third Eye Thursdays and these rants and these bills that we have on IG. That's what this is. I'm not known for giving out news after it happens, right? I'm known for predicting things and giving a heads up, and the shit happens and we forget that we had awareness of it, but we know that we pivot to the left because we see the shit coming and it's not knocking us on our asses. You know what I mean? It's not knocking us on our asses, man. So that's my superpower and that's my love language, is that I'm just here as the OG, you feel me, to basically deliver the news and the information and some of the insights before it occurs. So we said that 2023 will be a roller coaster ride. Let's focus on what's really important. And that starts with us. The weapon formed against me was me. Let's start focusing on us. Let's start focusing on our universe. Let's start focusing on our state of mind, our peace of mind. Let's start focusing on our quote unquote, our bag, right? Because nobody's going to come and pay our bills. Nobody's going to save us. Nobody's finna come, endorse us. Nobody finna come sponsor us. You feel me? Nobody's finna come coddle us. So I just was like, watch this shit fall and manage like Rich Paul. It's finna fall. Don't take it personal. Don't stand under the bridge. You feel me? Don't stand under the quote unquote ladder and whatnot. Don't look up. Keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it personal. Shit is going to do what it's going to do. This is the year of quote unquote big change, big shift, and big resets. Did you notice that there's a majority of people, even in entertainment, having relationship problems right now? Everybody is breaking up. October full moon, the blood moon, aka the hunter moon. It's hunting season. We hunting with Hunter Biden, my niggas. We outside with Hunter Biden smoking, joking, stroking. And yeah, it's that time. It's fucking Jason months. And Jason is Jasoning. Yeah, Jason is outside today. Okay. My nigga Jason Voorhees is outside today. You know what I mean? He got the machete on deck. This nigga's masked up. He got the motherfucking he got the Pooh Shiesty on. Yeah, Jason is Jasoning. You know what I mean? If a war, it's rumors of war. There's war and rumors of war. But outside of the war that we see outside of our quote unquote windows and whatnot, like Israel is reenacting ritualistically their 50-year war that started with Yom Kippur, right? But we'll get into that. I have a little mini slideshow and everything. So we'll go through all of that. I'm not gonna leave y'all we're gonna get to it. But before we get to that, we got to talk about the war that's going on inside, right? There's a war going on inside a lot of people's hearts. There's a war going on inside a lot of people's refuge or a safe space, right? Which would be their house, which would be their humble abode, right? There's a war going on inside of the minds of man. Man is having struggles and whatnot, and it's playing out on airplanes, on trains, planes, and automobiles, right? We're seeing people having bouts with mental health and whatnot. We're seeing meltdowns. We're seeing breakdowns. We're seeing breakups. Everybody, not everybody, but there's a lot of issues that people are having in their relationships with infidelity. There's just some people waking up and they're like, I don't want to be in this shit no more. And they don't have a reason. They're just not happy and whatnot. And, before they go out and cheat on their mate, they're just cutting the shit short right there. They're like, yo, it was fun while it lasted. But, the glamours, you know what I mean? The grandmas want to be glamours. You feel me? They're like, fuck that. I'm living out my best Cardi B life. You know what I mean? At 75, and people are just looking at life as being very finite. And the conversation that I often hear repeating itself on many occasions is people just saying that they don't want to be stuck in the same mundane existence. They're yearning to be multidimensional. They're yearning to experience desires and whatnot while they're here on this planet. And they're on the internet and they're seeing people experience desires. They're seeing women, being treated a certain type of way by a certain type of people, and they're yearning for that. They're seeing influencers influence them to think a certain type of way, and they're being influenced like that. The men are watching men like Andrew Tate and Russell Brand and, you know, all of these woke and, you know, these quote unquote red pill woke voices and talking heads and whatnot, helping them define what manhood is. You know, these they call it the red pill movement, and it's no relation to your boy. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing to do with that whatsoever. I didn't set it up. I don't know those people. You know, we never had a conversation. There's a heavy copyright infringement taking place right now on the red pill brand, but it is what it is. It's not, you know, there are children, right? I have a teenager son. I have a teenage son. He's 15. He's at that point where he doesn't talk to adults. You know what I mean? He's at that point where he doesn't really have a lot of conversation for adults. He's in his world. He's in his quote unquote escapism. He's in his new reality. Me personally, I understand everything that he is going through hormonal wise and mentally, because even although I am in my 40s, I still have a very sharp memory about being 15 and 16, 13 and 14. And to be honest with you, I was into a lot more shit than my 15-year-old is into right now. So them being weird and detached and shit like that, it's whatever. You know what I mean? You know, do your emo shit, you know, and enjoy yourself, you know, enjoy life, you know what I mean? Because shit is real and it gets realer down the line. I say all of that to say that as parents strive to understand what is influencing their children, and as parents strive to understand, well, who is my child listening to, or who the fuck does my child pay attention to, or who the fuck can influence my child, who can I talk to, they could talk to the children, right? So one of the leading distractions, or one of the leading influences on the children's lives, happen to be the quote unquote celebrities. Okay. The celebrities have real estate in the hearts and the minds of the youth, the influencers, like these streamers and whatnot, video game kids like Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross and all of them. You know what I mean? They have huge real estate in the minds of the youth. On the girls' side, girls like Ice Spice, right? Cardi B, Suki Red, Suki, I'm gonna call it Suki Red. It's Sukiana and Sexy Red together. Just picture them as a two-headed entity. Suki Red, City Girls, Ari Fletcher, Ruby Rose. You know, there's a group of them who have humongous influence on the hearts and the minds of the impressionable youth, the youngins, the future, right? The progeny, the most precious asset that parents own. Well, not really own, but the most precious asset that parents possess, right? Because you are in possession of the life that you created, regardless of not. And, you know, let's be real. Like, you are the guardian. You are, if I got to tell you what the fuck you are, then you might not be that, but you're supposed to be that, you know? So these children, they listening to somebody. You could play cool all you want. You could play super conscious. I don't let my child listen to, you know, I've been here in this space for a long time. And believe you me, it's the same thing that happens in the church with the preacher's daughter. You feel me? And that's 6 times out of 10. It's not 10 times out of 10. It's not 9 times out of 10. But 6 times out of 10, that child, because they were sheltered and whatnot, and they were quote unquote smothered, and they were not allowed to indulge in those desires that you were holding them back from, or they were not able to socialize with the trenches or with the hood or with the undesirables and whatnot. If they go out to college or fuck around if they go into the real world and whatnot as a grown ass adult and they not really equipped to deal with that world, you know, and they fuck around and move to a place like Atlanta on their own, yeah, they could potentially get sucked under the current of the underworld. They could get caught in the undercurrents of the underworld because it is enticing. You know what I mean? It's a light that motherfuckers walk towards rather than run from in Atlanta. That light that pulls you into the underworld, it's a light that people are enticed and enthralled, right? And they go towards the light. And then they wind up in places like, you know, the strip club, chasing them up, chasing the wings with the ranch on it and whatnot. And, you know, just chasing that life, and they get caught up. And then somebody in the crowd who has that sight that could see a spring chicken and whatnot, they descend upon your innocent young child who you raised up to be super fucking deep and mad conscious and wildly spiritual and whatnot. And, you know, now they on Molly Percocets, you know what I'm saying, getting taken for a ride with some fucking Casamigos and some shrooms and whatnot by a nigga with face tats who got 20 bodies, you know, because they want to be tapped into the polar opposite, or they may be in a rebellion phase and whatnot, and they want to piss you off with your Offset Ahmed Muhammad III Smith. That's your name. You know, that's your new name, and you're super conscious and you're mad deep and you're judgmental about everything. And you driving your car, pointing people out and talking about them. And your child pays attention to that. But when it comes time for the child to rebel, the child is going to go towards the shit that you was making fun of, the knuckle draggers or the hood or the, you know, the people that were below them. You'll fuck around, and that's where you'll lose your quote unquote, even your wife or your husband, your loved one, you know, they'll fuck around and cross the line and do some foul shit and go directly where you was, you know, the places where you was telling them don't go, because that's just the nature of people. They're gonna go where you tell them to don't. They're gonna go in a room that you tell them don't go into. That's why even with the Illuminati talk, it's more people that want to be in the Illuminati. If there was an Illuminati that they could sign up to, they would run to do it, because they're like, yo, the Hoteppers and all of these fake conscious people be talking about the Illuminati and this and this and that. And it really just, all it did was entice weak-minded, subservient people with heavy slave DNA who been on their knees, who been licking boots and licking on the heels of people greater than them. They like, yo, where is that? Where, you know, and to be honest with you, and this is my observation, it could be a heartless observation or whatever, but I see a large contingency when I see black men acquiescing to alternative lifestyles, and they're allowing white men in particular dominate them. Then I'm like, fam, that you in the Illuminati, nigga. That's the Illuminati right there. You niggas talk about Illuminati, nigga. If you getting Pornhub, you around white men, you're a black man, and you got white men treating you like Kunta Kinte. White men are selling you for pleasure. White men, you got white men, you're advancing on fetishing of white men. Nigga, you're a slave. What the fuck does love got to do with it? You're not in love, nigga. Wake up out of that one. Snap the fuck out of that, nigga. You can't have that conversation with me. Maybe somebody else, you know, women is compassionate. They be allowing dysfunction to function because they're mothers and shit. So, you know, that shit is built in them. So they entertain dysfunctional shit. You know what I mean? They got fake shit with them. They'll smile through the shit, show you their fucking cavities and their teeth. You know what I'm talking about? They fuck around and co-sign a lot of dysfunction. You know what I mean? They let that shit fly. But real niggas, We're not going for the bullshit, bro. We're gonna tell you right off the rip, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Like, no judgment, heavy smudgement, though. No judgment, heavy smudgement, my niggas. Get the don't you can't pull that one on me. I don't know about nobody else, but I ain't going for it. Like the young people said, I ain't going for it, nigga. You're winning Rome, nigga. You're a fucking Roman. You know what I'm saying? You're a Roman, and that's how it plays out through proclivity. You're just a Rome. You're Romanistic. You got conquered by Rome. Because if you was on some African Carthaginian shit, nigga, you would be, you know what I mean? If you was on some African Carthaginian, you know how they roll? Those are what they call, women in Jamaica call them cocksmen. You understand? Those are ladies' men. You understand? You're knocking shit down. You know what I mean? You're a fucking G. That's the difference. I don't know where you niggas came from. I'm just not really interested in finding out. You know what I'm saying? But I know you ain't come from where I come from. I know that we are not the same, niggas. You know what I mean? I know that for a fact. We are not the same. That's a fact. We're just going to call a spade a spade. You know? We're just going to call a spade a spade. And once again, no judgment, just smudgement. But get that shit out of here. Take that shit over there because I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it. I got this far and I ain't going for it. You know? Fuck out of here with that. So they've confused generations and generations of people. And, you know, what can I say? What can I say? I just sit back and I shake my head. SMH. You dig? It's SMH all day. But an interesting thing has taken place on today, October the 7th. Very interesting thing has taken place that cannot be ignored because we have to keep in mind that we've been having this conversation. We have a series entitled When in Rome that me and Blue Pill do. We also have a series entitled The Quantum Quickening, right? But in this series, When in Rome, we are pointing out a lot of biblical occurrences that are taking place on a global scale. And we're pointing and we're showing the similarities to these biblical occurrences with the situations that are going on all around us right now. Now, on every Sunday, we have Blue Pill come through as Pope Pablo, and he does his sermon, The Mineral Ministries, right? And he lays it down how the Bible, how shit is really playing out from that holy book. Disclaimer, neither me nor Blue Pill would identify ourselves as Bible thumpers. However, we are fully aware of what the fuck is going on and how it ties into the Bible that, you know, that y'all niggas grew up on. Y'all should be teaching us about what the fuck is going on with the Helios, Biblios, and everything, right? So whenever I see things popping off with Israel, right, with what they call the home of the Zionists, right? Whenever I see shit pop off, and I am an adherent of the book, Behold the Pale Horse, and in that book, those of us who came up in the 90s, you know, learning from people like William Cooper, right, and Jordan Maxwell, we learned that the protocols of Zion, we learned who we were dealing with from that book. It laid it out. It laid it out to the point where it wasn't, you know, we didn't have to ask any more questions about anything. Like it gave us everything that we needed right there. This is who you dealing with, and this is what it is, and this is what it's not. Okay. So we knew that the small hats was doing whatever they was doing, and we knew how far they were willing to take it, just based off of that passage or that book that broke down that protocol of Zion. So today when I woke up, I saw that there was war declared by the state of Israel against a quote unquote rebel group called Hamas. And Hamas is really just an acronym. It's basically a breakdown for an Islamic revolutionary group. That's what Hamas breaks down to. And then I went ahead and I did more research, and I came to find out that what we see taking place right now has taken place on October 7th a few times. This is not, I repeat, this is not an ordinary situation that we're witnessing, okay? By no means at all. This is not a regular situation. This is more of a ritual, okay? This is more of a ritual that you see taking place. This is not something that happened haphazardly. So we're just going to build on some of these news stories and bring the family up to date, because I'm sure people are not aware of what is going on over in Israel. They're kind of like not, people, because this is not something that our people talk about. This is something that our people don't talk about. And of course, the algorithm on YouTube, it kind of like, it's like the Sentinels in the movie The Matrix. Like they're outside, scouring through, searching for the opposition, searching for people who are basically exposing the truth so they could do what? So they could censor you, okay? Because the algorithm is the quote unquote the sentinel from the Matrix. That's what the algorithm is. It is the sentinel from the movie The Matrix that look like a squid, right? That's what that is, okay? And it prevents certain information from existing, okay? So they do a good, they scrub the internet from a lot of shit that they don't want you to know about, because once again, the internet and social media is the largest mind control apparatus that has ever been created. If they could get multiple people on the same frequency and wave and whatnot, voila, magic, they got you, and they do that with the algorithms. The fact that they could dictate whose news feeds that you can see. They could dictate how many people you're exposed to. They could dictate all of these things automatically with the push of a button. So the algorithm is preventing. I got 112,000 followers and whatnot, or students, but I would say about 2,000 of them are exposed to my information. Everybody else is blocked out of it. So they got us in echo chambers where they only have us listening to, hearing, seeing, and being exposed to whatever stream of consciousness they want to expose you to. And I'm here to let you know, you might not think that it have any influence on your subconsciousness, or you might not think that it will affect your mental health. But if they keep feeding you trauma, if they keep feeding you depression, if they keep feeding you defeatism, if they keep feeding you falsehood, if they keep feeding you low frequency ratchet storylines to your quote unquote feed, because remember, your scroll, as you scroll, you feed. It's called your Instagram feed. And what do they mean by feed? Because nigga, you eating. As you scroll through toxic septic pools on Instagram of all of these killings, these extrajudicial killings that be taking place. I be on Instagram And it's some days, not every day, but some days it's just killing after killing after killing. Because you know, there must be somebody must have the plug to like convenience store cameras, like the stores and the fucking delis and shit. You know what I mean? Somebody got a plug to that shit, because every other day there's a new video online from a convenience store shooting. I don't know where the fuck y'all be at, but it be on my timeline. And the convenience store shootings is like the new knockout videos, because it's like you don't hear anything. It's really it's really what they call that? It's really Menace to Society. It's this fucking tape with O-Dog where he blew the Chinese woman's head off. You know what I mean? Because niggas is like, you want to see a body? And then I turn on my social media and like real bodies, like not no play, like niggas getting slumped. And it'd be silent and whatnot because it don't have sound on it. So you just see the action. It's like people walking up and slumping niggas. They pulling up on the scooters. The sicarios in Mexico, they always killing somebody. And your feed is what you eat. So if you keep seeing death and death, if you keep seeing people getting knocked out and they're laying there limp and whatnot, you're not supposed to see these things. You're not supposed to look death in their eyes. That's not healthy. We grew up watching Faces of Death, right? That was traumatizing. It wasn't healthy. Right? Wasn't healthy. So we have to examine what it is that we're exposing ourselves to. Because somebody said, don't digest it. You eat through your eyes. You eat through your ears, and you eat through your mouth. I don't know how in touch you are, sir or ma'am, but the average student that's out there, I don't think that they're that advanced to whereas they can eat something and not digest it. Most people are digesting what they're eating. They're taking it in, and because once you have an emotional response to it, my nigga, you ate it. So if you're on the gram and you're watching a sexy red sex tape and whatnot, right? And you didn't ask to see it. You didn't want to see it. You don't want to see your favorite artist having sex because that's too private, right? I didn't want to see R. Kelly smacking cheeks. Niggas in the barbershop turned it on and whatnot. I didn't want to see the artists that I listen to, right, having sex. That's why I don't listen to porn stars that rap. Because those are two different, they don't belong together. Like I talk about gangbangers that rap. If I want to watch a gangbanger bang, my nigga, I don't want to see them on stage at Rolling Loud trying to perform. It's just them two things don't go together. Let gangbangers bang and let rappers rap, nigga. It's not this, they don't have nothing to do with one another. Let porn stars shoot porn, nigga, and let fucking rappers rap. People are gonna try to make them one and the same. That's something that you do in your private life, and entertaining the people is something that you do in your public life. Although adult entertainment, they would beg to say that no, we're entertainment now. There's a way to entertain people with your private life, right? So adult entertainment is rising up in the Kali Yuga. Adult entertainment is ascending during this Kali Yuga. Adult entertainment. You see how New York had a flood? And we talking about this year 2023 is about the underworld coming above ground. This is about the subterranean world surfacing. This is about the paradigm opening up and hell on earth, right? Because early in the summer, we showed you that they had the heat wave that they called Cerebrus, but the spiritual implications of that heat wave was that an entity has entered the chat, and that fire and that heat wave was basically the telltale sign that that energy was on the planet, right? That heat that was killing people, right? Heat. I mean, God damn it, what a way to die. Would you would rather die from the heat or from them cold? I think I go with the heat on some white people shit. I think I'll fuck with the heat because I don't want to die in the cold. Like the sister that they had in the freezer in Chicago. I never want to go out like that. But to die by heat, my nigga. To die by the heat, my nigga. To have fucking boils and everything. To die by the heat. Will your insides feel like they fucking on fire? Right? Turn on the oven, y'all saying? Winter is coming. So, Cerebrus, and then they had another heat wave that followed up, and they also named that an entity from hell, right? So, Canada was on fire this summer, which is indigenous land. Maui was on fire this summer, which is indigenous land. These are lands that were stolen and they got to give back. Hawaii was stolen. Hawaii was taken. Hawaii was jacked. You know what I mean? Hawaii was robbed of the people, from the people. And they didn't want to give certain things back. That's prime real estate. The same type of real estate that Elijah Muhammad says that the devil took. And his birthday is today. I want to dedicate this show to the spirit of Elijah Muhammad and whatnot. You dig? Shout out to the prophet because he was a master builder. You understand? And so many branches have grown from that tree and they bear fruit. Fruit that we eat. Fruit that we've benefited from. You know what I mean? Fruit that has nourished us. So we have to pay homage, you know? So yeah, there been heat waves on the planet ever since that heat wave kicked off in Europe and whatnot and started washing them people up. So there's earthquakes, there's fires, there's brimstone. All of the telltale signs of both Revelations and Kali Yuga are here. Everything that you need is in the year of 2023. Even the existence of the Antichrist. Because I would say that the Antichrist could be AI if it becomes sentient. And I do believe that it probably has become sentient. And it has achieved AGI. Okay. Artificial general intelligence. I believe that we're here already. So I do believe that the Skynet aspect, or there's a Ultron type of mind state. I believe it has something to do with CERN. And I believe that the Philadelphia experiment, 2023, 40 years later, after the Montauk Project and whatnot, they're time traveling, they're shifting paradigms, and they're dimension jumping, right? I do feel that we're in multiple dimensions, and I feel like we're in a different dimension than the one that we've probably all been familiar with. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like the variants are that we're in touch with our variants from multi-universes, and there's a lot of shit going on the quantum realm that will make itself more apparent as we move towards the quote-unquote 2030 juncture, you know, because the 2030 juncture, that's the great reset. That's the, you know what I mean? That's the new aim that people are aiming at. 24, we're going to get 24 out the way, then 25, a quarter, and then boom, 28 and 30. But we're in a shift. Make no mistake about it. You don't need to speculate about it anymore. It doesn't have any, you don't have to speculate. It doesn't have to be theory anymore. It is what it is. We're in a paradigm shift. We're in a great reset. We have upgraded from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. We are not alone. You know what I mean? What a fucking time to be alive. But we are in a day and time that was prophesized, and we're all back here to be a part of it. And yeah, you made it. Like, you've made it to the jump. So what are you going to do now? right? So I'm in observation mode when it comes to what we're about to talk about, what's going on in Israel and whatnot. This is going to be a high level observation. This is going to be, I'm gonna be as unbiased as possible. What I will say is that those people in Palestine, I'm gonna show you a video. Those are niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Those are gonna be the blackest people. If you're gonna think about Israel as being multicultural, which it is, the melanated people are going to be in what you would call it. They're gonna be running with Hamas, as you can see right here. Right. There you go. Look at his face. Okay. They got a Israeli hostage. Okay. And the same way that when the people, if there's anybody who fought in the Iraq war, you were in the Middle East, you could tell my audience that in places like, I think it was Basra, right? Places close to Fallujah, they were melanated Iraqis that were being ethnically cleansed during that occupation. Ethnically cleansed. They were killing melanated men and women and children over there. Right? Nobody wanted to talk about that. So those Ethiopians that are over there being treated like, doormats in Israel, and they're forcing them to fight, and they're forcing them to be a part of their quote unquote activities. Right? What do we say to that? Of course they want to bring a second coming. Like I said, the Antichrist is the AI. You feel me? The Antichrist will be the AI. Today, an earthquake occurred in Afghanistan. 120 people killed and 1,006.3. And it's 2 earthquakes, they say. But this also happens to be coincidentally the anniversary of the attack or the first day of the war with America on Afghanistan. The same day of the anniversary, 22 years ago, the longest war ever in American history, and there's an earthquake on that anniversary. What does the symbol literate amongst you say? Fuck what the surface is reading. That's not why we gather. You don't know me for, we don't read headlines and just, take it for the quote unquote surface meanings and whatnot. We're not surface dwellers. So what does your spirit tell you? What is that saying? The same day of that anniversary, an earthquake is going off. And then you have the Yom Kippur War. Coincidentally, right? Because you have to put this into perspective. This is a 50-year cycle that we're looking at. This is the war that literally, basically, if this war was lost, there would be no Israel of today. A lot of the world would not be suffering today. America would not be what it is today. 50 years ago, the same time that hip-hop was birthed, the same year. These happen to be the same people, though, who run hip-hop. These so happen to be the same people who funded hip-hop. These happen to be the Castle Grayskull headquarters, ground zero, motherfucking point, where the minds who had that meeting about hip-hop in the direction that it took, they come from here. Right? So the Yom Kippur War, also known as the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, was a conflict between Israel and a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria. The war lasted from October 6th to the 25th, 1973. The war began when Egypt, Syria, and their allies, listen, because the same thing happened today. This is not by coincidence. The war began when Egypt, Syria, and their allies launched a surprise attack on Israel on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, right? So remember, they set it off on the Arabs during Ramadan. I saw the footage. It just happened during Ramadan. They ran through the mosque. They were stepping on niggas, right? And that's Islam's holiest month. So on Yom Kippur today, remember they went to war today, October the 7th, 2023. They're calling this Yom Kippur 2. And 50 years ago, the same 50 clip, 50 Kali 50, the same 50 that we taught 50, half a century, you know, that 50, that war, right? They started the Yom Kippur War. And the outcome of that war had profound implications. So the outcome of this war, because the Hamas is not alone, right? They launched a surprise attack, but they're being funded by other parties. They're not fighting alone. They're declared this is a holy war that's taking place, and this shit has the potential to splinter into something very huge. You're going to see a plethora. Your timeline is going to be bloodied up for the next 7 days. This is their ritual. So their holiest day, their Jewish calendar, their holy, their ritual, right, is gonna show you dead children. It's already on the timelines. It's not gonna be their dead children though. They're gonna show you dead fucking Arabs for about 7 days going down the line. I shit you not. They're already showing you buildings dropping. They're already showing them niggas is hitting the equivalent of O Block and dropping buildings over in Palestine. You get to see the carnage. But I asked Blue Pill when I was talking to him, I'm like, damn, bro, they keep, I need to do the research on the times that they be doing this, because Israel does that. They're one of the only states or one of the only countries that could show you them killing children, women, and men, dropping buildings. I'm talking about flattening blocks, and niggas don't be saying a thing. On your Instagram, no blurring, no warnings, no censorship. They show you all of that. You get put under that fear spell about these boogeymen, right? Because when they go to war, they let their fangs out. Okay? Their fangs come out. Okay? One of the most militarized borders in the world got breached today. Right? One of the most militarized. This is one of the most technically efficient, quote unquote, countries in the world. You are going to see them show the AI weaponry. Because remember, Israel is one of the biggest arms suppliers around the world. And the way that they sell their arms is by going to war with the Palestinians, because they get to show everybody else how that shit works. When they get to show everybody how good their weapons are based off of the efficiency of the kill. That's how they became the #1 arms supplier, because nobody is more efficient in their kill rate than Israelis. And what they've been able to knock off the fucking PLO and the Palestinians and all of their oppositions on that side, going from Egypt, the way they beat this war right here. You're dealing with spiritual warfare. They're not just fighting with weapons. Let's are you dumb? Let's be, you know what I'm saying? Let's be very fucking clear. This is spiritual warfare. This is the Kabbalah. This is the motherfucking, this is all that other shit. They not just fighting regular weapons, but their weapon program is going to be on full display. This is really like come shop with me type shit. They're really showing the rest of the world, y'all gonna shop with us. Cause we about to show you some shit with this AI shit that you niggas never thought you're not ready for this. Okay. Just pay attention. But I could guarantee you that you're going to see carnage on top of carnage, on top of carnage, on top of carnage. And they're not going to let up. And it's a ritual that they do to our people. They do this during certain type of time periods. I would say that there's alignments, moons and whatnot. But this is part of their grand ritual that they continue to shed blood and they continue to keep this shit pushing. And remember, they run they're the ones that own your culture. So think about that. This is definitely Red October. I might have to motherfucking rename. Nah, I'm gonna keep this one at the war shit. But the next, yeah, we doing Red October. You know? So these are 50 years of conflict and wars. And the USA versus Afghanistan. Now you already know that has this, it's all tied into this shit right here. So what is it about October the 7th? Right? Very interesting day. Now, I was at this convention yesterday. Let me show you this.
Peace family, peace you and yours. I'm reporting live from inside of what I call a wealth portal, right? A place of endless opportunities and abundance. So walk into the future with me. I'm gonna show you something real quick. This is a machine that you've never seen before. You know what I mean? This is a fresh, all natural smoothie machine, right? This is for sale. This is open for business. This is not just a regular display. This is showing you how you could benefit off of the technology on the healthy side. So check this out. Think children, right? Think children at 7-Eleven at the smoothie machine, and they don't like they want the icy. They don't like your smoothies because they're boring.
I ain't gonna show that whole thing because it's kind of long, but I was at this convention yesterday called a NACS, right? The NACS show. It was in Atlanta, right? The NACS show, right? Where all of the food distributors, bro. They were selling gas machines in that bitch. They were selling gas stations. Like, I seen some shit yesterday. I promise you. Let me show you.
This out.
Let me show you.
It's a real. Yeah. Family, peace. We are live and direct from the ATL broadcasting. Like I said, I'm gonna do a live later on and just talk about the endless possibilities that have been exposed. But I promise you, and I shit you not, the world is an abundance. Don't fall for that lack mentality, that fake ass fit. Like this is bigger than the Invest Fest where I'm at right now. In terms of opportunity and abundance at this trade show, crazy.
These niggas got gas stations, y'all. Look, man.
We got no room for.
I ain't even gonna hold y'all up, man.
This is what the Invest Fest need to be on, shit like this.
I ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. Yo, y'all need to hit. Yo, we the plug now. I'm just gonna say it like that. Come holler at your people. I could set you up. I could get you a gas station. Look, man, the price done went up, man. You know what I'm talking about? Shit different, man. Shit different out here. It's different out here, man.
Dude, there's money out here.
So let me share the difference between where I was at yesterday in the Invest Fest, why I said it was better than the Invest Fest. This is what I walked away with. Right? These are not magazines, right? These are brochures. These are not magazines. These are brochures for companies. They got order forms inside of them, right? You know what an order form is? It's basically when I make the phone call, I could order anything from any of these companies. Jamal Milton in the building, the legend. Shout out to the legend. What's good, my guy? What's good, my guy? Yo, we got a bill because I got to talk to you about this album I'm about to drop. So check this out. This is a product portfolio for airplane style, like when you go to 7-Eleven and there's cases and whatnot, right? Because it's all about the display. So you could be selling Seymour's products, you could be selling vegan burgers, you could be selling anything, chickpea burgers and whatnot, but the way that you're selling it is looking struggle and whatnot. So now, right, I got you, people got magazines, nigga. We got order forms, right? We are not the same. Conversation's not different. We got catalogs, right? Look, you know, I'm smoking catalogs, right? So now I done found all of my suppliers for all of my quote unquote smoke brands, right? Look, they got wraps that you could put, I could put my picture, I could put my album on a wrap and a nigga will smoke it. Right? These are the suppliers. This is who the stores is going to. This is who the gas station is going to. Hear what I'm talking about? Look. The difference between the Invest Fest and this event is at the Invest Fest, the vendors were selling products. At this trade show, they were opening up accounts and they were giving you product. They gave me this shit to just come home. They like, yo, just try it out. These are clients. You understand? I got shit for days. I could put my picture on any one of them. Look, goji berries. Right? You don't got to smoke leaves no more, tobacco. We smoking goji berries, right? We smoking anything that we want. You could make it, you know, white label and whatnot. Look, I'm the plug. Call me Pasta Noose. That part, right? That's what having friends in high places do. And I'm gonna go on record and say this. Look at this shit. The red, gold, and green bomba clot, right? Your logo right there. Your name right there. Your image. Your avatar right there. Yeah, talk black to me. We talking big business, niggas. Pre-roll, right? So you get to stuff the red pillars trees, because this is my line, right? These are my trees right here, me and Blue. The Delta 88 and the Delta 44, okay? And they'll come pre-rolled in the color that you want. You want red, black, and green. You want red, gold, and green. Rock bomber cloud. What you want? What you want? Goji berries, my nigga. So look, they was giving out bit. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Was giving out cigars in this bitch. Like, are you dumb? What are we doing? What are we doing? That's why I be like, I don't want to have the conversation about no struggle shit. If niggas is not talking about upward mobility and how we gonna get to these B's and whatnot, if you talking millionaire talk, that's boring. That's basic shit right now. You better be talking them billies. The whole world is your oyster. This is just a smidgen of what we got. It's just a smidgen. So the difference between the Invest Fest and this, what I went to, is one, the Invest Fest, and I love being there because I was building with the vendors and whatnot, and I got to see how our people look, but we need trade shows. I seen $1 million get made in about 2 minutes with 2 vendors, bro. $1 million. Nigga, this is abundance. People think that people be, I don't know what people be doing, but I'm here to let you know that the rappers are lying to you. The record labels are pimping you, right? Everybody, because everybody got to eat. Nigga, rap snacks. Everybody got to eat. I don't know about that other shit. Everybody got to eat. You know what I mean? You know, you selling games and all of that. Slot machines and shit. This was the automatic smoothie machine, right? 15 bands, right? 15 bands. So I'm thinking, if it's 15 bands, I'm thinking 150 because I'm not getting one machine. So, and this game is ran off of credit. Like, let's stop playing. All of my 800 credits and whatnot, tap in. We not trying to do anything. We're getting rich. The world is your oyster. Better claim it. You better claim it. You know, you better claim it. And they don't care about what's going on. Business as usual. Business still got to happen. Deals still got to get made. I don't give a fuck what's going on in the world. So don't fall for that okie doke. If the world ended today, there's somebody out there that's going to make money off the ending. Fuck out of here. So it's about business. Business before pleasure. Business. We doing trade shows. We getting our business credit and we opening up businesses. And I'm one of the people I'm an adherent of the law of opposites. I do great in places where I'm not supposed to, where people don't think I'm supposed to be at. I do better in crowds where I'm the standout than I do in places where everybody look like me. The law of opposites, right? Opposites create friction. Opposite is where the real fucking breakthroughs occur. I do better amongst people in places where I'm not supposed to be on paper. But when I show up, I could shake the room. Because I shit you not, them people was throwing things at me yesterday, bro. It was just, they was giving me shit. They was giving me boxes and whatnot to walk out with. I got a whole house full of plants just from pulling up. But it is what it is. Like, we are not the same. Everybody's, you know, that's why I can't wait till Meta comes out and puts those glasses. I'm on the first line to get. I already basically put in a pre-order for the Meta glasses. I need you niggas to see my life. That's gonna be Patreon only though. You know what I mean? Because that's a privilege, my nigga. My life is a movie. That's a Patreon bag right there. We gonna run it up because the shit that I see, I always say, yo, if niggas could see what I be seeing, if people could witness the things that I see, if y'all was in the airport with me and seen some of the things I saw in these airways, my nigga, if y'all was on a roll with me, because a lot of things really happen when I'm traveling. I don't know what it is, but it's my travel bag is different from my regular bag. You know, when I'm traveling, things just occur, you know? But those glasses is gonna open up a whole world of voyeurism that I'm you know, the veil has already been lifted through Sexy Red, through Sukiana Red and them. They lifted the veil of the voyeurism. She broke the veil with her sex tape. We're talking symbolism. We're talking in a spiritual realm. We're talking influence and culture, right? Because regardless of anything, everybody watched it, right? So that's a shift in the culture because I don't remember a time where people were like watching they're watching their favorite rapper getting piped down, you know, and it not being enjoyable like that either, you know. Yeah, Suki Red. So they've already lifted the veils
So now, because think about it, you got glasses with POV on it. Niggas is going live getting neck immediately. Come on now. Like, let's not be, you know what I mean? It's going to open up a world of voyeurism that probably didn't exist before. That's what those glasses are going to do. You're not going to tell somebody, oh, that they can't have the glasses on and look at some tits and ass that's right in front of them. And people wake up to that shit every day. You know what I'm talking about? You're not going to tell a nigga that he can't look at his fucking meat. You know what I'm saying? When he got the glasses on, because you're not going to be able to stop that. So the world of voyeurism is about to open up in ways that it never opened up before, just with that experiment of the Ray-Ban / Meta sunglasses. Okay. But, you know, what do I know? But let's check this out. Let's go ahead and just go through a little bit of these slides and whatnot. Now, I had a video that I wanted to play with the man's son, right? I believe his son's name is Adonis Drake, right? Because this is the album cover for All the Dogs. Shout out to all of the dogs out there. Shout out to Ampu. Shout out to the Dog Face God. You know what I mean? Shout out to Seven Bomar, who broke down the science behind the dog, right? And the Dog Face God. And shout out to Ross Ben with the information about the Nomo and the Dogon and whatnot. So in the video, Adonis is talking about the goat head. Adonis is talking about the goat. You know what I'm talking about? He tapping into the goat energy and whatnot. So I found that very interesting because, you know, of course, Drake is of Jewish descent. And this album came out yesterday. I'm not really a big I'm not a big fan of it, you know what I mean? It didn't really jump out, it didn't really stand out to me. I kind of follow the sentiments of Joe Budden, where he was saying this nigga sounds like he's rapping to teenagers, you know what I mean? And it's not a grown man's album, it's a breakup album. And you know, Drake shot back at the bro. But yeah, I don't know, I gotta listen to it a few more times. But then I'm looking at the drawing and whatnot, and I'm like, you know, it's interesting that, you know, these drawings, they indicate, you know what I'm saying, some things about the child, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, them drawings be saying things, you know what I'm saying? You know, but it's a genius move that he did on his behalf by making his son the artist of the album cover and then purchasing the art from him, right? Thus raising his quote unquote ticket or his price. By the time he is a young adult or a teenager, the artwork from his son will be reach millions of dollars. So in that sense, that is genius. Okay. In that sense, that is that's genius on his behalf. You know what I mean? You know, anytime any one of these quote unquote, anytime they go ahead and take their children, right, and level them up, like how Jay-Z and Beyonce got their daughter, you know, on the whatchamacallit, they got their daughter on the tour, and they got their daughter on the credits and whatnot. You feel me? I'm definitely saluting anybody that does shit like that. I could give a fuck. But you know, it is what it is. So this is the young man's drawing, for take it for better or worse, you know. And he's talking about that goat energy and whatnot. And what Israel really works off of, you know, is the worship of Saturn. Okay. And on Saturn Day, right? On Saturn Day, they have declared war. And like I said before, this war is in perfect alignment with wars that have already occurred on October 7th. So yes, this is that Red October energy. This is the October war energy that they're summoning and whatnot. They're tapping into a date and a time on a timeline where they are conjuring up
not only rumors of war, but the energy of war, and it's here. Okay. Because when war starts, it starts. So now we have the Ukraine conflict with the Ukraine versus Russia, and now we have Hamas versus Israel, but also Iran. We also have Turkey, okay, and we also have the quote unquote Saudis in the middle of this thing as well, because there's a peace treaty that they're negotiating between Israel and Saudi Arabia that the Muslim world already opposed. But as a result of this quote unquote assault right now, if they were to go ahead and try to make that deal, it would almost be impossible. It would almost be impossible. Okay. So we have in the year 2001, okay, a war started between the USA and Afghanistan. There's some people that's in the chat that probably were participants in that conflict, right? Laced up their boots, threw their fatigues on, and went and fought for this country and whatnot in the name of Uncle Sam, right? And, in hindsight, we realized that that wasn't what it was. And in hindsight, we realized that this was a failed war that America basically got into to throw billions and trillions of dollars into the pockets of Halliburton, and the Bush crime family and other quote unquote sketchy characters like Dick Cheney, pause, right? So they went into Afghanistan, and the opium and dope and fentanyl and other opiates from the poppy seeds of the fields in Afghanistan began to show up on the shores of America in working class neighborhoods and in other places like the hood and shit like that. And now we have a crisis, an epidemic of proportion that has amongst an epidemic that has fatalities and mortalities attached to it that will make the Afghanistan war, which was the longest war in the USA's history, pale in comparison. It would make that shit look like a fucking shootout. Okay? There's a lot of people dying as a result of them going in there. So what is Hamas? Because you're going to hear that a lot. So let's just break this down and let's just understand who these quote unquote people are versus, what the media is going to say, right? But before we get into Hamas, let's give a little bit of context as to why Hamas may be doing what it is that they've done. So October the 1st, right? There's already been tensions brewing in Israel between these quote unquote Israelis and the quote unquote Arabian or the Palestinian community, because they're trying to sacrifice a goat on a Temple Mount, right? Shout out to the young goats, right? Shout out to the goat. Shout out to the goats. So Israeli police arrested a Jewish man in Jerusalem on his way to sacrifice a lamb on a Temple Mount on Sunday morning. Return to the Mount is a group seeking to renew animal sacrifices on a Temple Mount where the first and second temple stood. There is no more room for Muslim rule on a Temple Mount. The time has come to build a Jewish temple and renew the sacrificial works, the organization said after Hanuk's arrest. The chief rabbi of the Western Wall and the holy places, Rabbi Shmuel Rabinowitz, banned the bringing of animals to the Temple Mount in April to prevent Jews from trying to bring Passover sacrifices on the holy site. At that time, returning to the Mount leader, Raphael Morris, was arrested bringing an animal to the holy site as a Paschal offering. During the times of the first and second temple, the week-long festival of Sukkot was marked by sacrifices, and specifically sacrifices from all the nations of the world, water libations, and the custom of circling the altar while holding palm fronds. Okay. So the October War legacy phase in troubled modern Egypt, right? This is from October the 3rd. In mid-October, in the mid-afternoon of October the 6th, 1973, Egyptian bombers and fighter aircraft flew low across the Suez Canal into the Sinai Peninsula, attacking Israeli air bases and command posts. Not long after, waves of Egyptian infantry began their assault on Israel's massive fortifications along the canal. Because it was Yom Kippur, the holiest of Jewish holidays, and Israeli intelligence assessments had cast doubt on Egypt's intentions to go to war, Israel's forces in the area were thin. By the next morning, 90,000 Egyptian soldiers and their equipment had crossed the canal and were advancing under protection of a thicket of surface-to-air missiles that kept the Israeli Air Force at bay. The liberation of the Sinai Peninsula, which Egyptians have craved since their army's crushing defeat by Israel in June 1967, hold on, had begun with an extraordinary battlefield success. So in 2021, Hamas and Israel had a conflict, right? So Hamas and Israel entered their deadliest conflict in 6 years in May 2021 when Hamas fired rockets into Israel following weeks of tensions between Palestinians and Israelis in Jerusalem. Now, before I even jump forward into 2021, let's go back into the conflict that took place in 1973. Okay. They got caught by surprise, like they got caught by surprise today, right? They were able to rout their defense and they were able to win this war, right? And they were able to defeat multiple enemies on multiple fronts, okay? And that put them in a very powerful position in that region. And of course, they've had conflicts afterwards, but never to this degree that they had going all the way back to 73. Okay. Their most formidable foe has been the quote unquote Palestinians that reside in the West Bank, the Hamas, all right, and the Gaza Strip. Shout out to all of my Gaza heads, right? So let's read a little bit about Hamas so we can understand who they are versus who they're not, okay? How does Hamas challenge Israel? Hamas began firing rockets and mortars into Israel after the group took over Gaza. Iranian security officials have said that Tehran provided some of these weapons, but the Hamas gained the ability to build its own missiles after training with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and proxies. Additionally, Hamas militants have flown balloons carrying incendiary devices towards Israel, which sometimes causes fires. The group has also carried out incursions into Israeli territory, most famously kidnapping Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit in 2006. 5 years later, Israel released more than, listen to this. This is the bargaining that one of their soldiers, right? This is how important one of their soldiers are to them, right? This is how far they're willing to go to make sure that one of theirs comes back, right? And that's why they are mortified by so many people being kidnapped today in this war that has taken place today in their region. So they released 1,000 Palestinian prisoners to secure Shalit's release. So 1,000 Palestinian prisoners 5 years later were released so they could release one soldier back to them. In 2014, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused the movement of kidnapping and murdering 3 Israeli teens in the West Bank. Indications that a rogue cell committed the abductions highlighted Hamas's inability to control all of those affiliated with it. What happened during the 2021 Hamas-Israel conflict? Hamas and Israel entered their deadliest conflict in 6 years in May 2021, when Hamas fired rockets into Israel following weeks of tensions between Palestinians and Israelis in Jerusalem. Some analysts say that Hamas wanted to bolster its reputation as the defender of the Palestinian cause after the PA postponed the 2021 elections. During the 11-day conflict, Hamas and PIJ fired more than 4,000 rockets from Gaza, killing 10 Israeli civilians and injuring more than 300 others. Hamas reportedly coordinated with the IRGC and Lebanon's Hezbollah during the fighting and used so-called suicide drones along with its usual arsenal of less precise missiles. The United States and Egypt brokered a ceasefire to the conflict, during which Israeli airstrikes killed more than 200 Palestinian civilians and caused more than $290 million worth of damage in Gaza. Donor countries such as the United States have since fought to fund reconstruction without aiding Hamas. President Joe Biden will coordinate with the PA and the United Nations, but yeah. How do Palestinians view Hamas? The political bifurcation of the West Bank and Gaza is widely unpopular. A June 2023 poll by the Palestinian Center for Policy and Survey Research showed that 1/3 of Palestinians consider it the most damaging development for their people since the State of Israel's 1948 creation. The same poll found that more than half of the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank will vote for Hamas's Haniyeh over the PA president Mahmoud Abbas in a presidential election. All right. How does it govern Gaza? How does it govern Gaza? Hamas has been the de facto authority in Gaza since shortly after Israel withdrew from the territory in 2005. The following year, Hamas won a majority of seats in the PA's legislature and formed the government. It earned votes for the social services it provided, and as a rejection of the incumbent Fatah, which many voters perceived as having grown corrupt at the helm of the PLO and delivering little to the Palestinians through its negotiations with Israel. The outcome was unacceptable to Fatah and its Western backers, and the party ousted Hamas from power in the West Bank. In Gaza, Hamas routed Fatah's militias in a week of fighting, resulting in a political schism between the two Palestinian territories. Palestinians have not voted for a legislature since 2006, nor a president since 2008. So they basically running shit over there. And, you know, they have a governing structure where they have a 15-member, leadership body that are in exile, right? General policy is set by an overarching consultative body, often called the Politburo, which operates in exile. Local committees manage grassroots issues in Gaza and the West Bank. And Hamas has a host of leadership bodies that perform various political, military, and social functions, right? So they're broken up. They have different people playing rank and file. They have a group of council that is in exile. Elders for council, the youth for war. So the elders are in council. The elders are council, and they're not on the ground with the warriors. They're not there. They're in exile. Right? Similar to what we were proposing to say, why don't we send our master teachers and our elders to the island somewhere and make sure that they're provided for so they can have healthy minds and they could basically really coach the warriors and coach the frontliners and be of more assistance to people rather than being stuck in the cities where they're forced to pay bills and live underneath the quote unquote stress and the strain of the matrix. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like when I'm able to do what needs to be done, then that's one of the main things that will be done. Okay. This is structure. This is I look at this and I'm a student. I study, right? Because people can say what they want to say about these people are going to war against the most powerful military standing globally. They not no pushovers, nigga. I don't know if you know. You might not know. So if your enemy is powerful, if you got strong enemies, then vicariously that makes you strong. If you surviving through whatever they got to deliver, henceforth, why niggas are who they are. Because we got powerful enemies. And those powerful enemies are able to sharpen our swords. So I don't know if they're going to talk about it on the news, but this here is one of the main reasons why the conflict has taken place. And this was one of the reasons why the Hamas and other Muslim countries was like, enough is enough. Nigga, bomb first. Strike them. Because they violating. And they took it too far. Police detained several people seeking to sacrifice animals at Temple Mount, right? This is April the 5th. The last article was from October the 3rd. Cops stop a number of individuals with goats or lambs as they try to bring them to sensitive holy site to perform ancient ritual act seen as having explosive potential. We're talking about people doing rituals on sacred grounds that have implications on biblical proportions. Shit that is written in the fucking Bible. That type of stuff. You know? So this article from the Times of Israel, Yom Kippur 2, this is highlighting today's conflict. This was the doomsday scenario we drilled in IDF military exercises. Keep in mind, the Israeli military was highlighted on many occasions as being the military police force that trained USA police forces in what is known as excessive force in urban dwellings, right? After these police forces receive the Israelis, right, the IDF training, we began to see an uptick in extrajudicial killings by the police forces around the world, around America, that is. From St. Louis to Minneapolis to Baltimore, all of these police forces were trained by the same people. And like I said before, the reason why these police forces and these other governments go to Israel is because of the success that they have with their suppression of the Palestinians. These are their guinea pigs. These are the people that they show how the drones, they show the other customers, right? The same convention that I just went to. They have conventions like that where they sell weapons. I just happened to go to the trade show for all of the food, right? But it's the FDA, right? And it's also the ATF. They didn't have tobacco in there. They have a whole trade show for tobacco and firearms where they're selling drones, they're selling AR-15s, they're selling weapons of war. And it's like a goddamn Walmart of warfare, right? The biggest vendors is Israel. That's one of the biggest vendors throughout the whole shit that you'll see selling all of these instruments of death and destruction. They have the best AI spamware, and they have the best AI, quote unquote, ransomware. They got Pegasus. You understand? They got the top of the line shit, bro. You feel me? They got Peter Thiel with Palantir. You feel me? They're the top of the line surveillance hacker, taking over your computer, taking over your phone, taking over your camera, spy. They got the top of the line spyware. You know what I mean? That's Tel Aviv. That's Israel. So they're going to be looked at, like something is sweet because they got bombed on. But you got to ask yourself, with all of that, how could they have gotten bombed on? That's not even possible. How did their intelligence, they supposed to, they're showing the world, we got Palestine on lock. We got Hamas under our feet, under our thumb, we crushed them. We keep, da-da-da-da-da. And then they got bombed on. So for the countries that have billion-dollar weapons deals with Israel, they're going to start rethinking things like, shit, if y'all can't even protect your borders, how can you protect ours? We might as well go with Russia. You know what I mean? Or we might as well go with another weapons provider that's going to be able to, that's going to show that they're protected. Because y'all, so you're going to see there's a lot on the line. So I'm just giving you the heads up about what you eat, right? Moving forward, your timeline is going to have extra carnage on it. We don't see babies charred and whatnot like they're being barbecued. We don't see a daily dosage of people, being quote unquote beaten, and there's nothing that they could do about it. And we don't care about those people because we don't even know who those people are. They're not showing us the melanated people that they're killing in Israel. They will only show you the pale Arabs. They're not going to show you the melanated victims of what it is that they're doing. They won't give you the Africans that they're out there killing. They're not going to show you that, but that's happening. The same way when people around the world saw melanated people in America being killed by the ops, they started rising up and they started asking questions. But they were not fully aware that that was happening based off of media. You dig? So let's read this article right here. Yom Kippur 2. This was the doomsday scenario we drilled in IDF military exercises over the last decade and a half. Terrorists infiltrate Israel en masse, take over entire Israeli towns, kill civilians, and take hostages for later negotiations. Incessant rocket fire, chaos, and fog of war on the Israeli side. This scenario played out exactly today. The only difference was the military scenario envisioned Hezbollah attacking from the north, not Hamas from Gaza. No one thought Hamas had such capacity, especially with the intelligence coverage by Israel's Shabak and IDF intelligence. But it happened. We are in the first hours of what will be a long war. The scope of the blow will become clear in the next days, but already it is clear that there are over 100 Israelis dead, both civilian and soldiers, and worse, Israelis taken hostage in Gaza. A few initial points. This was a colossal intelligence and operational failure of the IDF and the security services. Not only did the incursion come as a total surprise, but the border barrier and other means of sealing off the Gaza Strip collapsed, right? This is huge in this side of town. This is huge in the history of what Israel is able to do. Remember, they are surrounded on all sides, right? They are fucking top ops in their region. It's almost like NBA YoungBoy, you know what I mean, going to an industry party. Like, they are surrounded by their ops on different, they got different ops. They got strong enemies on different sides. Israel is at war. Tens of thousands of reservists are being called up now. there is a real danger Hezbollah may join the war, and Hezbollah, and that will turn this into one of Israel's greatest wars. Israel will have to conquer large parts of Gaza, both to restore its deterrence. Otherwise, Hezbollah will be tempted to attack Israel in a similar fashion in the future, and as leverage for the release of Israeli hostages. Right? So they're going to conquer large parts of Gaza, which means large civilian casualties. The international public opinion, initially sympathetic to Israel, will sour soon, with days or a week or two, especially as Israel deepens its operations in Gaza. Jewish communities abroad should be prepared for an onslaught of hate in the coming month. Right? This is them writing to each other, by the way. Okay. So the name of this offense is called Al-Aqsa flood, right? That's coming from Hamas. That's coming from the rebel side, right? They're calling it Al-Aqsa flood. You know what Tupac said, bomb first, right? So Al-Aqsa is the mosque, right? Islam's third holiest site that they are attempting to sacrifice these animals and these goats. So the name of the operation is called Al-Aqsa flood. So it's basically the pushback from them coming to the Temple Mount, okay, and violating. And they're like, nah, enough is enough. Y'all are crossing the quote, y'all pushing us to a point of no return. So we are ready to put our lives on the line to make sure that y'all don't get what the fuck y'all trying to get. Okay. Ramadan has often been marked by clashes and high tensions between Israel and the Palestinians, particularly surrounding the sensitive site, which is the holiest in Judaism, right? So keep in mind that they run down and they violate the Muslims during their quote unquote Ramadan observance, right? On Sunday, far right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir said that Jews should visit the Temple Mount during the holiday but not perform the ritual sacrifice, which he has repeatedly called for allowing in the past and has even attempted to perform himself. You got to understand how deep this ritual is. The fact that they are trying their fucking darnest to shed blood on this Temple Mount. What is that? Why is that? What does that mean? What is the implications? Right? Why are people ready to go to war to stop that from happening? Mainstream Jewish leaders reject renewing the biblical right of sacrifice on the Mount at this time. Monday saw the head of returning to the Mount detained, apparently to prevent him from attempting a sacrifice. So this whole thing is a sacrifice. If it's a ritual from the buildup and they're at war right now, then how can you separate this from the ritual? The fact that it's taking place right now on the 7th, and I showed you that there was war on the 7th already 2 times, 2 major conflicts. One, the Afghanistan war, and the other Yom Kippur War #1 from 73, the same year that hip hop was created. And these are the same people that run hip hop from right here. Right? Not even from New York. They run hip hop from Israel. Okay? They're the big homies. Okay? And their influence, you know, America is almost like the satellite of that place. So, of course, they clapped back and they started their operation Israel's defense minister warned Hamas made a grave mistake in launching an attack, which began at 6:30 a.m. and involved barrages of rockets fired from multiple locations in Gaza, as well as fighters infiltrating Israel by land, sea, and air. They was playing Taliban 2, nigga, with Burna Boy. Huh? Citizens of Israel, we are at war. The enemy will pay an unprecedented price. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, remember Kanye was calling him Net and Yahoo, said in a video message from military headquarters in Tel Aviv, right? Mohammed Deif, a senior Hamas military commander, said the rocket fire marked the start of Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, and he called on Palestinians everywhere to fight the Israeli occupation. So it's akin to you niggas fighting back when you were going to war, when you were having a conflict. You didn't even reach the level of where they're at. You just was fighting over George Floyd. But nigga, you're the Palestinians if nobody told you. And Gaza Strip is your fucking hoods. Okay? And you're being occupied by a force of people that came off of some ships and got put into your land. Nigga, all of your feathers, where the feathers at? Where the feathers and the feathers at? This is your shit. Okay? To put it into context, what you're looking at. And it's almost as if you decided to one day clap back and send motherfucking rockets into the suburbs, nigga, to knock down these white castles and these gentrified forts and things of that nature. This is what that looks like. Okay, amongst many other things, it has a lot more. I think it has more spiritual implications. DJ Khaled is from Palestine, but they would have had to destroy a Nike store for that nigga to say something. You know, he ain't gonna say nothing. You know, there's a dude who's a streamer called Fauci, right? He's from Palestine. Like, there's not a lot of them out here that we know, right? Turkey is a backer of Hamas, right? And a critic of Israel following President Recep Erdogan's rise to power. Though Ankara insists it only backs Hamas politically, it has been accused of funding their terrorism, including through aid diverted from the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency. So the way that they're able to eat, Hamas puts taxes on people. You know, they taxing goods. They got a sophisticated network of tunnels that circumvented the Egyptian crossing into Gaza, and they brought staples such as food, medicine, and cheap gas for electricity production into the territory, as well as construction materials, cash, and arms. Okay. So Egypt closed the border on them, but they're able to smuggle things into Gaza, and they got a network. And Iran is one of Hamas's biggest benefactors, contributing funds, weapons, and trainings. We don't have any benefactors. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have people looking out for us like that. You know what I mean? Niggas is jockeying for grants and shit like that from like NGOs and the government. But black people don't have benefactors. The strugglers, the rebels, the you know what I mean? Like, nigga, somebody knows who the fuck we are, right? Everybody got the internet. They got to know that somebody exists that's pushing back in America that got melanin. But you don't see, you know, nobody's coming to save us. These people at least they getting funded by their Muslim brothers who got some oil money and got you know and care about them. Imagine if we were funded. You know, just think about that. Imagine if we were able to be, you know, giving some startup money, like this convention that I was just at. You know, like I said, If I could go somewhere where I could open up accounts and I could talk, I could give my business plan to somebody and we could talk about the road to how to make millions of dollars out of a quote unquote investment for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm with that all day. That shit was, I felt like I was in a candy store. Facts. I didn't feel out of place not once. And them Europeans made me feel very in place because they let me know that I belong there. You know what I mean? Talking about EV and gas stations and smoke shops and all, just big talk, real talk. I was in Diego booth, the same people that dropped Diddy, and I was asking, you guys got any Deleon? You got any Ciroc? And they was laughing and shit because they knew I knew what the fuck was up. You know what I mean? Everybody was there. Every single brand you could think of. It was the size of a football field. Tickets cost $1,000 and up to get in there. Bro, and the difference between Invest Fest, they wasn't giving you shit at the Invest Fest. Nothing for free. At this affair, I have bags on bags. I promise, I shit you not. My closets is packed with all kind of samples that they gave me of stuff. And I was on a health kick. I was hitting up mad spots like, yo, I represent the health community. So to be honest with you, I could have loaded up on like Takis or fucking, I could have loaded up on junk food. I could have loaded up on anything I wanted to. But I got loaded up and I got 4 bags filled up. And that's with healthy shit because there's so many brands that this is my thing. Let's boycott all of the delicatessens, all of the gas station stores, and all of the quote unquote delis, because those are legitimate food deserts, and whoever's supplying those stores have a monopoly because there's mad other brands that exist that are way healthier and have way more benefits and taste way better than the motherfucking those 80 brands that every store has. Because I travel a lot. I'll be on the highways and the byways. I'm in airports, and there's about 80 fucking brands that everybody is carrying. But when I went to this event, I saw 800 brands. So feel me on that, please. This is not no braggadocio. This is just me giving you, I'm debriefing y'all. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm ready to consult. I will talk to anybody who has a legitimate business about any type of business ventures, any type of connections to any one of these quote unquote suppliers, right? This is time, take yourself serious. You feel me? We are living in serious times. I'm sitting here telling you about some global war shit right now. But with all of this taking place, it is reason, don't ever in your life take this shit personal and think that there's something scary happening. This is something beautiful taking place. The world is moving around and making room for you and yours and people that look like you and yours. And the creation of products and services is not relegated to one group of people. Always know that. You know what I mean? You go to a trade show in Dubai, nigga, you gonna see the go to a trade show in Africa, go to a trade show in India, go to a trade show in China, go to a trade show in Vegas. You'll see people from around. This is a global market. You on the internet, nigga. You in a global market. Treat it as such. That's why we doing some geopolitical breakdowns right now, so we understand global affairs, right? We understand global affairs, so we know how to basically, as creatives, we could create with a more wider scope. Because Gaza, in hip hop is a real. That's a real big thing. There's a lot of different people that identify with the Gaza, So you've already been summoning and quote unquote that energy. You're not on the Gaza Strip. You're not the Gaza Palestinians, but you've identified with that Gaza energy. You feel me? In the reggae world, in the hip hop world. If you from Harlem, you know you niggas is Taliban. They went to war with ISIS, nigga. Do you don't find that suspicious, nigga? They went to war with ISIS. And that's what our people was running with that shit prior to that. Word sound magic. It's like they play those games too. You know? They play those games. Hold on a minute. Let's close this out. So, going back to the initial report about October the 7th and the fact that 22 years ago, America went to an illegal war in Afghanistan, a war that they eventually lost, a war that was wild, illegal, and whatnot, a war that interrupted and disrupted the fabric of a lot of societies and shit like that. The war that helped to open up the floodgates to basically bring the doogie, you know, into America in the form of opiates, and then, you know, later on as fetty or the fentanyl, right? And then today there's an earthquake. There's, matter of fact, 2 earthquakes, the twins, right? On the 22, there's 2 earthquakes that hit this shit at 6.3 magnitude, okay, in Afghanistan, right? So that was a 19-year war. No, matter of fact, yeah, 19 years and 6 months. Man. And they have nothing to show for that shit. You know what I'm talking about? The region is still what it was before they got there. So imagine, yeah. So all of my definitely anybody that's on the Forex and on the stock market and dealing with these, you know, any of that stuff, keep up with the economy and keep us up to date with the economy, because it's definitely going to have some type of shifts in the market, you know. Definitely keep us updated with it, and I'll keep you updated with the information from our side, right? So at this point, we're gonna go to some questions that are in the audience. We'll cater to some questions and whatnot. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat room, so the man them and the woman them could come to the stage and chop it up. All right. Look for this right here. This is the link that will open up your camera and bring you into the back office, and then we'll bring you on the stage. You feel me? Because this is something that I could, you know, this is a conversation that we could keep open to the KT aliens out there, so we could have a convo before we get up out of here. You dig? And sound effects, I think I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but sound effects may be coming back by Monday show. You know, cross our fingers. Made an order. I'm just waiting for it to land. Profit off this war, folks. War causes inflation in the US dollar. Yes, there's profit to be made if you know how to make it.
You know, there's profit to be made. The market is, you know, we don't put our emotions into the market. It's a numbers game, you know what I mean? It's a market, and we marketing right now. So I'm giving y'all this information so y'all could get busy on these markets. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody that want the plug on the wholesale vendors, just hit the Cash App and leave me your email. You know what I'm saying? Here's the Cash App. That's the only way to contact me for that information is through Cash App. No other way. And just either leave your phone number or leave your email, and we'll talk business. You feel me? But that's the language of business right there. Look at this shit right here. Hold on, let me turn this off real quick. Look at this shit right here. Yo, I promise you, man, and it's the shit is endless. I could do a whole fucking a convention. I could do a whole convention just with the samples that I got of all of this stuff, right? These are legal microdoses, right? Legal microdose. This is basically, it won't make you hallucinate. It's not psilocybin, right? But this is healthy for the mind, all right? This is like nootropics. These are mushroom gummies. This shit is good. Turkey tail, right? Supports immune defense. So you need this, right? I'm actually the March 125th, right? I'm launching multiple websites where I'm going to be selling multiple products from my many plugs and whatnot. And I'm not even pitching to black people. My shit gonna be selling in China, on TikTok. Like you won't even know it's me. You know what I'm talking about? Here you go. Lemonade Kush. This is a fucking vape. I mean, THC vape. Lemonade Kush. Shit crazy, yo. They passed this new regulations where the vapes can't sell to children no more. So they got to take off all of the avatars. They told me this at the convention. Anything, they can't have cartoons on these tobacco products. They can't have cartoons on CBD products and hemp products because the children think that it's candy. And they're getting, this shit right here though. Oh my goodness. This is the let's go crazy. Right? This is that let's go crazy. This is it right here. There's 5 of them in here. Yeah, yeah, watermelon trance. Yeah. You dig? Then we got this right here. Energy strips. Put it under your tongue. Come on, man. Look, man. Y'all stop playing, yo. Business. This is all business, man. It's business, not personal. You know what I'm talking about? Shit, business, not personal, man. I got somebody in the building. All right, we got fan pulling up. Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's chop it up. All right. Roberto, what's goody?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm great, bro. How you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where you tapping in from?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. You know what I mean?
Charlotte.
What's going on out there?
Everything, I think this recession is kind of different. And I say this from a standpoint of being prior service. I was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I deployed to Afghanistan. I only deployed one time. One time is all I needed. But I think this recession is a lot of things is working in our benefit.
Right. Talk about it.
To say the least, it's working in our benefit. I've been in 2 car accidents. So my neuroscience is getting back to par. But everything is going well though. I think that this recession is different. I think they're trying to bring us back to that 07, 08 type of feeling. And they're trying to promote more. I mean, it's the same formula. We know the formula. But
Right.
however, a lot of people aren't standing. There's a lot of disloyalty.
Right. And the disloyalty it leads to poverty, because the people that's winning is the people that's showing loyalty to each other, right? The people that's not suffering is the people that's working together. They putting a family on and whatnot. The people that's benefiting are the people that work as collectives. Like there's niche communities where they shopping with each other, the shit circulating and whatnot. You got Mexicans that's living in the crib and whatnot, contributing to the bills and whatnot. They not suffering. You got people that are doing like, you know, real susus and whatnot. They not suffering. You got people that got family and they putting a family on to their business. They not working for nobody. They building their own shit up. They hiring a family and everybody coming up and whatnot. And they saying, fuck making anybody else rich. It's about us.
Right. Absolutely. And I know I still battle with being a veteran and understanding things on a different level, not really being appreciated, you know, as a black man or whatever terms whoever want to use. It's fine with me. I'm blessed. You know, I feel a lot of love from my family, and I appreciate that because that's the only thing that kept me up. So, you know, but fast forward, you know, I think that everything that you said, like we have to communicate with our family more than ever. So all this disconnecting between your immediate family, extended family. I know people talk about find your tribe, find this. You need to find yourself.
Right.
Because when you in these different situations, you will be tested. It don't matter what you done been trained. It don't matter how old you are. You're gonna be tested. And
You're gonna be tested big time. Yeah, get ready for that. It's interesting that you said what you said, because I do feel similar to that, but I also do feel that it is an oxymoron where they like find your tribe, and then it's like, you know, fuck that. If your family it's not necessarily your blood family. You know what I mean? It's really like your tribe now. So it's like you can't have two things at once. You know what I mean? It's either your tribe or it's your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we made it through this whole thing where they was pushing the poison on us, and it wasn't our family that was holding us down. It was our tribe.
For sure. For sure.
And many of us, we learning and we waking up, and we have an affinity towards people who are on our frequency and whatnot. And sometimes it's not family members. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And we tend to be like, yo, I'm only fucking with people that's vibing the way that I'm vibing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. Definitely.
And like they start losing that loyalty, or they start losing that connection to like that cousin that they had or that family member, because it's like, you still family, you still my day one. I ain't gonna never switch up on you or nothing, but you're not the person that I'm turning to when I'm really turning to somebody about some real shit. I can't even relate to you like that right now. Like you can't even understand where I'm coming from. So people are now caught and stuck in that quagmire of being in the middle and not knowing where to go. And, you know, even though somebody's in your tribe, don't mean that they solid. And it don't mean that they're gonna hold you down like your cousin will or your blood. That's another thing.
Yeah. And I understand that. And even spiritually, I've been in a lot of crossfires.
Right.
Physically as well. And you know, when you are a spiritual being, you have to prepare yourself in new ways that I had to learn to incorporate my environment, like you was talking about earlier, you know, not being around certain people. And it was I'm not gonna lie, as a man, you know, because I used to box, so I know how to go without sex for a while.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is I'm learning more about women that is way too apparent that isn't right. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't no fight for this woman or that woman. It's about what's right. You know what I'm saying? So But I'm definitely for my tribe. So, and that's just what it is, And so it
Definitely.
ain't no, and this is the thing. I'm not even able to eat certain things. I can't even if I think negative, I might get sick. So I have to always stay in a very. I don't even have to say I've been vibrating high. It
Right.
just realize it do hurt. It do hurt. I'll say that it do hurt. I'm moving. I got it's just more slow motion.
Have you been able to find a sister who's vibrating at that frequency to show you, have you experienced what it is to be in a relationship with a sister who's at a frequency that will match yours?
It was one female that I could say that yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what was that like? Like, what was the difference in that during that time? Can you remember, like, how did that differ? How did you feel different than you felt fucking with a woman who wasn't on your frequency and didn't understand anything that you was on?
The first thing I'll say is I stayed out of trouble. I
Right.
was in trouble with her because at that age where we was at, spiritually, we was both in crossfire, and I had to protect her because
Right.
the things that I seen that people were trying to attempt on a person that was as pure as she was. Now, don't get me
Right.
wrong, in our physical, we argue, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I spent the most time with her. I didn't spend no other time with a woman, and I slept. You know what I mean? And when I came back from Afghanistan, I wasn't able to sleep next to no other woman.
Right. You was
So
jumping.
I'm not with trying to have like all these. Nobody's coming to my house. Like nobody. Like I'm outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't say that with my chest. I say that like I gotta move. I've been in 2 car accidents.
I feel
Next
you.
person that try to hit me, they just gonna have to be a crash dummy because you're not gonna hit me again.
Right. I feel
So
you.
that's just what it is. But again, I'm just filled with so much love and peace. Like I'm not gonna say that it's weird, but it's new.
Indeed.
It's new.
It's
So I know I gotta take my time because I'm taking my time so I can be right even more. Don't get me wrong, I have made some mistakes, but I understand a lot better now.
right.
Having to accept the things that I had to accept, which is fine. You know
Right.
what
I
I mean? Which
mean,
is fine.
it's all learning. It's all a learning process. Question: did you see
Mhm.
black people in Afghanistan?
Yes, and in terms of color, yes, and they were blacker than me.
Yes. I
Yeah.
just wanted you to tell the people because I be, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. They had. Oh my God, they were so beautiful. So to be there and to understand my mission and the things that I was doing, because my mission, my job and my duty was transportation and security.
Right.
So there's been times where, if there's any other veterans in the chat, there's been times when I've been in that gunner's hatch. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, and you have to be very, very attentive. So I'm not in the gunner's hatch trying to talk to my mom or trying to
Right.
call. I'm not trying to do that. I gotta
Right.
focus. So
You on
right now I feel
focus.
like I'm back almost in that Afghanistan mode, not in the sense of my PTSD is what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that we need to start appreciating a lot of these veterans more.
Yo, can you tap in with me, bro? Because I
Mhm.
got some medicine for you, man.
Okay.
Spirit is talking to me. So I think by you tapping in, you could provide other veterans, or you could provide a link to other veterans who need some
Yeah.
of this medicine. Cause this, you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
CBD and this Delta, you know what I'm saying? And these this nootropics for the brain and whatnot. I
Yeah.
think this is the breakthrough. Because
Okay.
somebody just was mentioning something about, shrooms, and they were saying that they're scared of psychedelics. And there was another question where someone asked how long does the effects last? And then there's another one saying that some people are susceptible to being addicts because of maybe they were born addicted, right? So
Yeah.
real quick, both for them to answer them out at the same time and to also touch on what it is that I'm sharing with you.
Okay.
I'm not soliciting anybody in the audience to. I have to use a disclaimer that shrooms didn't aid and assist in who I am as a person personally.
my personality, nor does my intellect, nor does my ability to research. None of that comes from, you know, my I didn't write rhymes after I took shrooms. You know, I don't want anybody to think that it was the reason it unlocked something. What I can say though is what shrooms did for me is that it helped me get over my fear.
Okay.
And that's one of the many things, but I feared fucking with shrooms because I feared smoking weed for a minute too, because I thought that I was gonna smoke it and get stuck forever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought I was gonna hallucinate and it wouldn't turn off. And I thought that I was gonna be hungry and I was gonna just keep eating. You know, I thought all of these things because they tell you all of these wacky things before you do something. So when somebody explained to me that well, it was really Dr. Sabi with the shrooms, and he explained to me that this is, you know, it's growing from shit. Like it's for, you know, he's like, it's natural, it's not chemical.
Yeah.
But when I understood that it was natural and not chemical, because he was like peyote, shrooms, marijuana, he was explaining to me that there's chemical substances and then there's natural substances that if we were in the forest just picking things and foraging, or if we were off the grid, we would be basically going through, you know, purging with these medicines. We would take these herbs as breakfast. We would smoke. It would be a part of our routine because everything is off the land. So crops and the crops from the land are not to be shunned upon, but they're not for only recreation. They're for medicinal purposes.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I had started doing volunteer work, and I was getting ready to start going to different farms and helping them plant and learn the whole cultivation.
You know, that process. That process is therapeutic.
Yeah, very therapeutic. That's what I want to do. Like, there's so many things that, you know, I slow my brain down myself, you know, to be clear, you know, because I do meditate. And I thank God that I meditated today for this moment to be the way that it was supposed to be. So, you know, I do, you know, I have tried, what you call it? The, you know how everybody, what's the, like, almost like the edible, like the little deli, like you could buy it in the dispensary or something, or at any smoke shop. It's like the little, so I had a little feeling, you know what I mean? And I took like 10 of the little, you know what I mean? Because my body mass is different. So I took it and I just had the most calm feeling. I just didn't want to talk to nobody, didn't want to do nothing. I didn't see all these colors. I've been seeing all the things that people got to smoke weed and do all the, I'm not saying that you don't need it, because it's here for, it's here what is needed for. You know what I'm saying? But there's things that I've been through supernaturally that I think that, you know, because I've been given a lot of medication and it got thrown away. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm gonna take it. You know, but
But your spirit be like, nah, we ain't taking that.
I'm just learning that this water is helping me. You know, I drink a lot of alkaline water, so that's helping me the most as I'm better in my eating habits. You know, I lost a lot of weight. I was 250. Now I'm 215. You know, so I'm you know, getting this weight off.
Yeah, definitely. You know? The right way with that water. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, man. Tap in with me though, man. Tap in with me because I could help you with some of your remedies to some of the pain.
Yeah,
you know.
I think the most important remedy is love, though. And I ain't saying that
no doubt. Nah, love is magical. What it could do to the body.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like love it has healing modalities to it. You know what I mean? Like you could be in love and your skin clears up. You get the glow.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like your heart is secreting some type of, you know, nectar that is, you know, is fixing shit. You know what I mean? That's the, you know, love is almost like it's almost like you're being washed in this water, this healing water. You know what I mean? And whatever your partner elicits in the form of joy or dopamine from you, man, that shit is like, can't buy that. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't you know, you can't summon that in any other way. So I appreciate it though, man. Appreciate it, man.
Love.
Yes, love. Tap in with me. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
No doubt. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Up next, we got India in the building. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to balance it out and bring the divine feminine through. You feel me? All right. So let's go ahead. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to Saturday Night Live. How you doing, India?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I can't complain. You know what I mean? I can't complain. I'm outside.
Yeah, it's a you always have great lives. I always appreciate them. What the other brother was just talking about love. I think love is like the highest frequency, right?
It is. It's a frequency that they said the universe was built off of, because there's no indication of fear being in the universe.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, you don't have astronauts going out of space. There's no telltale. There's no sign of anybody going outside of this galaxy and them feeling a feeling of fear. Fear doesn't exist outside of the confines of the Earth. It's Earth-based.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that one. But that makes sense though, because if you really think about love, there isn't any fear in love. When you truly love somebody, there's no real fear. And in fact, I want to say that hate is fear, or it's connected. It's like on the same plane.
It's spectrum.
It's on the same spectrum.
It's on the same spectrum. Hate is fear. Right.
But as far as like smoking and stuff, I actually had to cut back on it. Maybe I wasn't smoking the right stuff, but I feel like it was giving me a lot of like memory issues, like short-term memory issues.
Short-term, right.
Yeah, so I feel like it's good for me to take like my hiatus breaks. I had seen recently like smoking it, even though, you know, I'm not judgmental, but I have recently seen like smoking it is not necessarily the best. Like burning anything and then putting it in the lungs may not always be the best. But
they say drinking it, you know, has its medicinal purposes. It supersedes smoking it.
Yeah, the teas, tinctures, different foods. We had talked before on the phone. You probably don't even remember. But I do holistic, like biomagnetic therapy.
Yes.
Yeah. I still do
the machine.
Therapy. No, I don't have a machine. It's like
you have the magnet.
The magnets on the different parts of the body. But I do the distance healing as well.
You do the distance, right? Let's do a session.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said let's do a session.
We definitely, we still gotta do it. I did a session on you a while back, but yeah, we still gotta do another session. That was right around that George Floyd stuff. Yeah, it was right around George Floyd. Yeah. And during that time, everybody had all these throat chakra issues. Right around that time. If they saw that video, or even just were dealing with like those types of issues, like hearing anything about it. So that's why
I can't breathe.
And you can't breathe. All that was all connected.
They was affirming that, and they were wearing masks too.
And it was wearing the mask, and COVID was happening. So it was a lot of like codes, energetic codes getting turned on during that time. Yeah, that was a crazy time.
Well, this is the 3-year. Remember, we in 3-year windows. So we're in a 3-year window of, you know, that 2020 network effect, I will call it. And this year has its own 2020 feeling to it.
Financially, definitely.
It's
like
the
the
most
financial crutch I feel like everybody's being put in. So.
Well, 2020 was considered to be a jubilee year, though, financial wise.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you think about it, like people that I know, a lot of people that I know, 2020 was a jubilee. It was a come up year.
Yeah.
This year is more of a crunch.
So how do you feel like, so when you're saying it's like the like reminiscent of it, like in what aspect? Just with like the war stuff going on, or
the pace, the energy, the breakthroughs, the events. You know, there's so many things that have happened in 2023 at such a fast pace. This year is moving like a rocket. This year has breakthroughs. This year has this year has all kind of things. Portals opening up.
This is the year of contact. This is the year of AI. This is the year of political. It's just a lot that has happened. And it's almost reminiscent. When we look back on 2023, this is a huge year of opportunity, similar to 2020 with everything that was going on. There are businesses and there are endeavors that people started in 2020 that they are prospering in by 2023. So that time of maturation takes about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could see that. And definitely like with just, how I watched your thing on Pac and Diddy and all that the other day.
Right.
And it just seems like, yeah, there is so many things are just being revealed like at rapid pace. Towards like
Right.
before you
So,
can
like,
even pay attention to one thing, it's the next thing.
nothing, right? Like seasons on Netflix. So it's like right after Nipsey in LA, they opened something up, right? Because rappers die every day, but the Nipsey thing stopped everything, and it made people refocus. They focused on his spirit, right? They focused on his message. They focused on him being the dream of what, because we believe in the gangs. You know what I mean? I hope we do.
On the wall, Nipsey.
Yes. Okay, yeah. So we believe in the idea of community revolutionaries in progress. We believe in the idea of the bastards of the party. We believe in the idea of this street organization finally one day waking up and using their power and their influence to do something to help raise our people up. And that's what Nipsey showed us. He was an exemplary sign of a redeemed gangbanger.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like he was an imperfect, perfect type of person, and they assassinated him. He ascended though, and after that, things just started opening up. Like, think about it. This is how we could measure the power of people that they take from us. If he was alive during COVID 2020, when people had PPP loans, when Dr. Sebi was already bringing him into mainstream by just saying his name, right? Because he opened up a whole world when he started talking about Dr. Sebi. So he would have been like, yeah, CMOS, the documentary would have been out. More people would have known about CMOS. There would have been more people healing, more resistance, more, you know what I mean? That whole thing probably wouldn't even have taken effect the way that it did. People would have been getting rich with Bitcoin because he would have been telling people where to invest their PPP money because NFTs was out, Bitcoin and stuff like that. And Ether was launched around that time. So he understood the language of blockchain, crypto, and all of that. And he would have been leading more people into a better direction. And he would have made more millionaires than EYL and all of these other financial movements combined have made up to this point.
Yeah, I could agree with that for sure. Because he already had the voice. The people were already listening to him, and he was already he was talking about Bitcoin and stuff. You could hear it in his music. In a couple of albums, you could already hear him talking about it and stuff.
Yeah.
And you've seen videos of him kind of talking. I think I seen a video like a while ago about him going. I don't know if he went to Europe and he was in one of those like Bitcoin cities.
Right.
But I do remember seeing that back in the day, like some years before he passed away. But so he was definitely ahead of his time.
He was way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of our people amongst us that are way ahead of their time, and they're being taken from us at a rapid pace. So my main focus is on the people that are here.
Definitely, you're one of those people that are ahead. Like I always tell my friend, I'm like, man, if Red Pill said it, then more than likely it's gonna happen. And I'm when I first started watching you, I forget what it was. It was years ago, like maybe 2017 or 2018.
Right.
And it was that case where those white people that had adopted the little black children and they went off the cliff or
They
something.
drove up the. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, and they were trying to act like it was an accident, and the news was saying it was an accident. And you were like,
Right.
nah, it wasn't no accident. And I
Right.
was like, man, and then I seen it, and then it came out that it was an
Right. I
accident.
was like, look at the
Yeah.
picture. I'm like, look at
Mhm.
their face. Like,
But you
that's
was the
really-
first one to say it though before the news ever said it. And I was like, oh shit,
Right.
he's on to something. And then I started really tapping in, like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. But always it's like I was like, yeah, maybe it's your mediumship. I don't know what the hell it is. It's probably a combination of your looking into like your you doing your research, probably all the above, but you've been prophesizing for sure.
It's really just like being able to at one point just deep diving and going through that rabbit hole. You just get stuck in the rabbit hole and you become the rabbit hole. So it's like I'm able to see, you know, I'm just able to see. I'm able to have a you know, they call it soothseeing.
Soothseeing, okay.
Yeah, it just comes to me. I see it.
Oh shit.
I'm like, oh shit. Okay. I mean, all right, boom.
That might be some Scorpio shit, though.
It really is.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with Scorpio and intuition.
For sure. But you've been on point though, so you definitely are one of those people.
Appreciate that.
What I did want to ask you though is like when you see these documentaries come out, like whether it was R. Kelly or whoever, even Tupac, you see the docu come out, and then shortly after you see action happen. You know, somebody goes to jail, whatever it may be. There's some kind of like political or legal action that takes place.
Right.
Like, and how is that? Is that because we're in like we see it, so we're like the show me era now?
Yeah.
You know,
we're in this new we're in a new digital era. We're in this new age where public opinion in this new matrix is more powerful than when we were watching TV and DVDs and stuff like that. So we're able to collectively affect things now with public opinion, or what I would call an egregor, a collective thought form. You feel me? So Tupac is back because Tupac's documentary was so big, right? Tupac is back. Like Tupac's spirit is like his stepfather just went to the ancestor realm. Like he still has a very domineering and a very dominant, he called it Thug Immortal. So his spirit is still part of the digital realm. It's still dominant. It still has his life. It's still being spoken of. He's still being summoned. He's still being conjured. He still has people thinking that he's still alive. So he's still anchored, you know? So he could be conjured. People can summon a Tupac if they know how to summon him and use him. He could be utilized. So this time that we're in, yeah, people are able to really utilize chaos magic, and they're able to utilize a magic that comes from the digital realm that never, because the digital realm, it just exists. It's just a new realm.
Okay.
This shit right here is new. You might think it is. You don't realize it, but this didn't exist 10 years ago.
Definitely.
So there's power in the matrix, like they told you in the movie. If you die in the digital realm, right?
You die in the
real world.
Yeah.
So people are getting bullied in the digital realm. They're getting exposed in the digital realm. They're getting shut down, and oh, you know, girls are dragging each other. You know, videos are going viral, and people are dying in the real world as a result of it. They don't separate the two.
Yeah, since I've been peeping that, you know, I've been doing a lot of writing lately.
Right.
Because my mother, she was a victim of medical neglect. And so it has been on my spirit, like, you know what, I gotta write her story. But not only does it have to be written, it needs to be like in a movie form so that people can like visually see it, because we were never able to sue the hospitals, none of that. And it was because of lack of knowledge. But I know you said you suffer from that too?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of us have.
Having a family member who I had to see them suffer for 10 years in medical neglect, and it had a debilitating effect on me.
Okay, well, maybe that's something we could talk about too, because what I want to do is I want to get not just her story, my mother Natalie, but a collection of stories. I'm a nurse as well, so I want to
Okay.
like put my own input of what I've seen in the system,
Oh,
but
let's talk
also
about it. Let's
other
definitely
people's
talk about
stories.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Let's definitely talk about it. And once again, it's the power of media. It's the power of cinema. It's the power of film. It's the power of video. Henceforth, why I've told my audience that's where my pivot is taking me into the realm, into the world of film and video, where my stories could be told and my voice could be heard and my ideas could come to life, because I know that I can affect the real world through the digital realm now, through storytelling, through art, through the sciences. But the power of the collective and the platforms in this digital realm is unparalleled. Like I said in the beginning of my video, somebody saw me and told me that I came down from the clouds, literally. And I said, what do you mean? And they say, I watch you on my big screen. I watch you on my phone. To me, you're not real. They was like, you exist in the clouds. Like, we don't know where you from. We just see you on your phone. I was out the country when they saw me, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they never thought that they would ever see me in their country because I'm not from their country. I exist in the cloud.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just on
Okay.
their phone. Like Red
Okay.
Pill is just an anomaly. He
Okay.
exists somewhere, but we'll never see him because we all the way in the UK.
Oh. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Almost like
when they see
starstruck
me,
a little bit too.
right. So when they see me in real life person, they like, oh, they was almost like floored, like, Mom, he came down from the clouds. But I do live in the clouds in the cyberspace. I'm in the cloud.
Yeah.
So Moses was on the mountaintops, and he said that they were talking to him from the clouds. But in this new digital, what they call the electrified age, Red Pill is in the cloud. Philip Morland is on the ground. I'm
Okay.
Philip Morland in the store. Nobody knows me, certain place. I'm just regular Peter Parker. I'm Clark Kent. But in the cloud, right, in the matrix, I'm just trying to explain to you the power of this realm that we're in so you can understand how this world is affecting this world.
No, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it like
it's not 2D anymore. We're in a 4D, 5D world because of this Tesla, because of this digital realm, this matrix. That this is the matrix. When the movie came out, this did not exist. Live video, me broadcasting like I'm on CBS, that did not exist when the Matrix and Mr. Anderson came out. The digital realm is the Matrix. So Red Pill, I have no flaws in this realm. I'm not human. I wear glasses. You know what I mean? People don't know my private life. I'm whoever the fuck I say I am in this realm.
Definitely. Yeah.
But my 3-year-old son, he knows his father in this realm. Right?
Yeah, in the 3D realm.
If I get into this realm, if I ever wanted to really start a war or really create some strife or really start a fire, I could do that in this realm easy. I never in my mind, I would never, I'm not gonna say never, but that option hasn't been exercised. But there's so much power in this realm that people don't realize how powerful a realm like this is. Imagine if I had 1 million followers, right? Do you know what that would look like in the real world? That the young man Kai Cenat,
yeah,
right? Kai Cenat, he's just one of many, but he showed people what that looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the line for the other goddess because she's in it. I don't want to be rude. So CJ, I'm gonna open up the line for you so we'll all be on the stage together. All right. So without any further ado, we have another guest in the building. Let me open up the line for CJ. Peace. How you doing?
Hello.
Greetings. How's everything? Good evening.
Good,
Welcome to Saturday Night Live. Yeah. So Kai Cenat showed what taking something in the digital realm and bringing it into what they call the physical node looks like. In the future, you're going to see more of that, right?
but the power that the influencers and the people who have these macro followings, right, of 10, macro is over 100,000 and more. Even people with micro followings, 2,000 looks like a lot in real world metrics. To the human eye, 2,000 people coming together look like 20,000.
Right.
When you're able to monetize that now, or when you're able to move that for political purposes, you now have power that the unions had back in the days of Jimmy Hoffa, right? When they were moving political the political parties were paying attention to the unions, because like the Teamsters and stuff like that, they had the numbers. So people that have the numbers now are the power players in the world that we live in. Numbers mean everything. I could get $100 million if I could show the analytics of a certain type of numbers to white folk. That's a fact. There's mad people doing that right now. It doesn't even matter about what I talk about. They're not even gonna judge me. They'll be like, we could find advertisers that will want to advertise with you. But if you doing these type of numbers, we know how to monetize that. If they're giving me 100 million, that means that they're making about $1 billion.
No, I actually work in a marketing agency, and a friend of mine, she was getting reached out to by Skims and all these other brands to do stuff for free. And I was like, I'm in a call right now for a campaign that's going to be $750,000, and they want you to do something for free. So you should think about how they're manipulating you, because you don't know on the back end what I know about how much they do actually spend to achieve what you do, where they're going to pay you nothing. And so that really changed her perspective on how she navigates the internet, because I'm like, at this point, if you're on it and you're not making money, why are you on it? Are you there for fun? If you're not having fun and you're not making money and you're not learning, you're not really achieving what it's at this point been created for, other than just to be stalked, because that's the only other thing you're doing. At all times, you're being stalked. So you might as well make some money or learn something.
I've been highlighting the culture of purveyorism and the differences between the generations in purveyorism. Some generations watch more than others. Some generations want to know more about people's secret life versus just their private life.
You were talking about the NPCs and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. And then I was also talking about the CIA assessment, where they say when they are surveilling somebody, they're looking at their public life, their private life, and their secret life. And they say, based off of them observing millions and millions of people over the span of hundreds of years, their calculations say that everybody has it, right? And this goes back into Sigmund Freud and all of the other Edward Bernays and the other psychiatrists that were studying people. So what we have now in entertainment is entertainers that are willing to bring you into their private life. This is unprecedented, because you didn't have access to Marilyn Monroe's private life. Her public face was implicating or implying that her private life was real steamy, and it was something that you needed to purvey. Then Hugh Hefner comes along and he says, well, I have these bunnies and whatnot that look like Marilyn Monroe. They're her phenotype, and it's amazing. It's her and a whole bunch of them. Playboy bunnies will bring you into this purveyor world and whatnot. So they were bringing people into the private world of what men of high stature and men of leisure were doing with women in an adult entertainment setting, right? Then it went to a further aspect to where they brought them into their private bedroom life, right? And they were exposing them into that type of thing. Then later on, their proclivities about their secret life. Your secret life are your kinks, right? Secrets that people go to the grave with and nobody is to know about. Where the bodies are buried, that's your secret life. Your secret life are certain things that nobody knows except you and the person that you have that secret with. And what this is what they are watching people with all of this millions and trillions and billions of dollars worth of equipment. This is what they do. That's how they blackmail people. They come and sit you down and put the folder right in front of you. Here you go. You know, the world knows your public face as a iron fist leader, right? You have you rule with an iron fist, but they got you on tape, right? And you got on, you said Skims, right?
Yeah.
You got on the latest release of Fashion Nova mixed with some Skims, and you win Jimmy Choo's. You know what I'm talking about? So you don't want the world to see that. You don't want that to leak on X or on Instagram or WhatsApp. So you are going to play along with whatever they tell you to play along with, because that's how the game of espionage and blackmail and government works.
Right.
All
I mean,
the way
that's
down.
something that's fascinating to me now. I'm scrolling through the internet and I'm like, I can't believe how much is just on here.
Right.
How much people are just putting. Like, I can't believe I can scroll through a Tumblr or a Pinterest and find a whole bunch of asses that were not leaked. You put
You
that
leaking your own shit. So the aspect of people being paid to bring you into their private life is OnlyFans. You feel me? That's what that is. That's purveyor culture. Now it's been monetized and it's been rewarded and it's no longer taboo.
Well, what would you say is the objective of that? Because that's what I'm trying to understand. The one thing that I can see is that to put people on that frequency just kind of puts them in like a disarray. People who are constantly in that sexual frenzy don't think straight. So they can be manipulated more. But I'm really trying to understand, what's the end goal? Like, what is it even accomplish?
I would say that it would be a social engineering, it would be a spiritual implication that this is a spiral. The further we go into what is known as the Kali Yuga, or the further we go into this darkness that we instinctively have to go through, this is the telltale sign that that darkness is actually taking place, right? This is not something that I feel will last forever. I feel that this is the proverbial veils being lifted, right? When they say the lifting of the veils or the breaking of the seals and whatnot, you know, we're going further into debauchery. We're going further into being into being very more, being more savage as a people. We're going further down that quote unquote wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
It has its negative effects, of course, but it's also something that's showing us something that we obviously need to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's normalizing something that I feel that has been very taboo for too long.
I can see that, and I think that it's being kind of warped into this like liberation, but it's I was talking to a friend about this, how it's almost gotten to a point where you can't tell the difference between the liberation and like the lack of moral compass. Like, you don't really even understand what you're doing. You're not actually even opting into liberation. And on top of that, my friend lives in Paris, and she was saying, you know, a lot of people in Europe are buying into the whole sexy red trend, all that, but they don't really know how that's affecting Black girls in underprivileged areas who are buying into it, and they're actually being, you know, taken advantage of. Like, you're a hot young white girl living it up, sexy red it in the club and going home to your nice condo, and there are young girls who are really buying into this, and it's affecting how they navigate their day-to-day life, where they're actually at risk. You know what I'm saying? And so I mean, we'll see the difference in how that impacts different cultures, but I mean, it's interesting to hear how it is taking a global effect at the same time.
It is a global culture that has its tentacles that reach, it doesn't wait to become a global trend. The same time that it trends here, it trends in Ibiza, it trends in South Africa, it trends in Israel, Tel Aviv, it trends in Brazil, right? We are in the Kali Yuga. It is nothing that we can do to basically change the fact that we are in the day and time of hypersexualization, masked as sexual liberation, erroneously titled as women's lib, right? Those are all marketing campaigns of something that it's not. You know, like you said, it's leading women to be more not just promiscuous, right? But to be more uneducated and lost in what is
Truly,
going on,
truly. Because
right?
I
And
have
what the
friends who are like,
world
I'm
has
gonna get
awaiting
that.
for them.
And I'm like, that's not even your personality. You don't know how to navigate that. You don't know what that
Mhm.
looks like. Where as soon as you knock on the door and it opens the door and you walk in, you're gonna get got because you
You're
don't
gonna
really
get right.
understand what that is.
So when we were growing up, we were saying that the warning signals were going out because mothers and grandmothers and aunts and uncles and brothers and whatnot were looking at a generation of young black men who our version of Sexy Red would have been a young Jeezy with the drug dealing. Our version of a Sexy Red would have been an Easy E with the gang banging.
Mm.
But people was like following Pied Pipers and hopping off the porch to live vicariously through these characters, and that's not what they were designed for. That's not what they were built for. That's not what they were groomed to be. So they were assuming roles that were not designed or made for them, and the consequences of assuming certain roles and playing in a certain type of game that you are not equipped to play in is that when you lose, there is no starting over again.
Right.
So there's a lot, huh?
I was gonna say that what I do like is not necessarily with Sexy Red, but like I do like that things are more matriarchal focused.
Right.
But it's still with this like.
But are they leading? Like a matriarch is a leader.
That's what I'm saying. What
What's false?
we're
It's like a
looking
false
for,
sense.
right? But what we're looking for, and what is going to be a telltale sign of that shift that you speak of, to tell us that we're in this juncture or this procession, right? Is when Big Mama really comes up and says, "All right, now that shit needs to stop right now. Fuck out of here." Like when that happens, because where is that voice? That voice is not being heard, and it's not saying anything right now. That voice is not.
You know what though? I feel like maybe it was Rich who was talking about this the other day, who was saying like when women who do have that stature speak out, that they kind of get shamed or ostracized when they try to take that stance. So it's like, what is the culture looking at to say that they respect? Like, would it take Queen Latifah? Like, who is it? Who's the person? Is it an unknown person who would have to rise from nowhere? Like, who would have to rise up and say something? Like, who, you know?
There are respectful women in this industry who are considered to be mothers or motherly voices. It only takes a motherly voice. I mean, Mary J. Blige could come out and say, "That's enough." You know, ladies, the queen, you know the one who could shake it all up.
You know, India Reed did say something recently.
And they ate her up.
They slammed her.
This is something that I've been exploring lately, and it's called a law of opposites. And the law of opposites is something that I've explored where it has to, it can't be the obvious NDRE. The law of opposites is the fact that it has to be somebody that you would never think. That's the shit that works. That's called a law of opposites, right? When Martha Stewart showed up with Snoop Dogg, that was the law of opposites. For some reason, it worked because it's not on paper. It's not supposed to work. So when a Mary J or Beyonce says some shit about the sluttiness or the slutty vegans that are running around out here going crazy, when they say something against that, that's the law of opposites. That's when it kind of works. You know, when somebody who you think, whenever they know people are already gonna say, yeah, Erica's gonna judge us, you know, Indy's gonna say something, you know what I mean? Like that's not the opposites, you know. The fact that
you seen Black China, that's kind of
right? In the
Kind of
sense
like
that
leaning
it's
in,
kind of
a little, like just a
a
little
little
bit.
bit,
She
right?
kind of reversed a little bit of her behavior, like
Nah, that's true. That's
she
true.
trying,
And now putting her in a space where we don't think she belongs, or where it would definitely be outside her comfort zone. Then when we do that, that's the law of opposites, and that's when we'll see her really thrive. You feel me? Seeing her get on the circuit and talk about why she took her cheeks out, that's not gonna necessarily have that much of an impact. It's weird. It's weird how
It
this
feels
whole
like it's
shit is
almost
set
too
up.
soon too. Like it's not even like in the thick of it yet. Like it really feels like we only got like 4 or 5 of these so far. We still got a few more to go.
We do, because keep in mind, it's still a progression that we're looking at, because the equivalent to Sexy Red today was Cardi B. The equivalent of Cardi B her day was Nicki when she came out. The equivalent of Nicki in her day was Foxy when she was popping, and then Kim when she was popping. Like when Kim was doing her thing, there wasn't a Cardi B yet, but Kim was Cardi B of that day, if you understand what I
It's
mean.
been happening.
It was like all they had to do is shift a few degrees, and that was enough. They couldn't let it shift 30 and 40 degrees right away. It was just that 3-degree shift that had our whole shit like, wait a minute, hold on, girls, which are right. So we know that goalpost every other year, every 3 years, a new person comes and they bring a further degree. So we know after Sexy Red, whose sex tape leaked. So it doesn't matter about nobody judging her. It doesn't matter about what we think. She is on Pornhub as an actress now. She has content. So
I'll
she's
be on here
officially,
learning everything because I had no clue that happened
so
either.
she's
I don't know.
officially a
the next
porn
rapper just
star
gonna be
that's
a full
rapping.
blown porn.
The next one, right? So it's only the degrees that we're moving into. So children will be consuming hours and hours and hours of their favorite rap star, who's a multi-platinum selling artist, but they will have hours upon hours upon hours of adult entertainment content. That's where we're heading in the near future. Do not think that that's not where we're going, because if you pay attention to the trajectory, nothing is coming out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, and
And Glorilla,
Adam
they gave when
22,
you took when Glorilla said that they twerking on the headlights at the red lights, right? When niggas accepted that, then that ushered in the door to say, in the show where they hit the thing and the chairs turn around,
Yeah.
the voice, we're hitting the chair,
yeah,
and it's turning around, and Sexy Red is right there. She don't got no dance moves. She just holding the fucking stack that you could get off of Amazon, saying, you know what she's saying about the color of her extremities.
Right.
Why did that catch on with everybody? Because I was saying before, many of us went through Sigmund Freud. We went through psychology classes. We know about nihilism, but we don't realize when we're in it. We know about this this aspect of what I was sharing about you with the CIA, where they talk about people showing you their public face, their private face, and their secret face. They've rewarded that in the culture now. If you show, because they're signing rappers who are literally killing people, that's your secret face. Nobody's supposed to know who you kill. If you're not a soldier, even as a soldier, you don't talk about your kills. And Hitman, before Sammy the Bull came out talking about his kills or his stains, nobody did that. Nobody walked around. There's rappers literally that are the top selling artists of all time, damn near. Like, this ain't no regular degular. This is not like somebody that slipped through the crack. We're talking about the top artists of our children's generation. They're Michael Jackson. They're fucking Jay-Z. They're Tupac and Biggie all in one. He is an avowed he has real bodies.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me.
Then think about it. I was telling somebody this the other day, because we were talking about generations, and I was declaring I was giving it up to the 80s generation. And I was like, y'all are completely different from my generation, because y'all literally grew into hip hop. You were born
into the frequency. So that changes everything about y'all. We were born outside the frequency. Y'all were born in it. And then think about the children that were born in the year 2000. By the time they were 12 years old, they were locked into Chief Keef. These are 12-year-old. I know where my mind was at 12. I was listening to Jamaican Super Cat killed somebody. That's why we was like interested in what the fuck was going on with the Jamaicans, with the dance hall, right? Because we was like, wait, he really killed the nigga? Hold on, what's this about? Like, we were drawn to that. So at 12, they find out about some kid named Chief Keef in Chicago. They find out about this kid named Little JoJo. They find out about Little Reese. These are 12-year-olds, right?
Rapping about lean, they don't even know what it is.
Right. So they find this thing called Twitter, and then they find this thing called motherfucking the war in Chirac, and they find out that these rappers that are younger than them, right? So a 12-year-old is looking at a 16-year-old like, yo, that's my OG, that's the big homie. These niggas start killing each other. I'm talking about wholesale. I'm talking about 100 bodies and up, right? You see the articles, 50 shot this weekend in Chicago, real bodies, real killing, right? So by time these kids become 20 years old at the year 2020, they look like Pop Smoke. Yeah, somebody was like, damn, that nigga is 20 years old. How the fuck did he? Because he is the generation of, he was born in 2000. He grew up watching murder on the internet. Remember, I was talking about Faces of Death. There's certain things that when you see it, it changes how you look. When soldiers go to war, they lose their youth, because when you keep looking at death in his face, it takes your youth from you. So the fact that a nigga who was 20 looked like he was 40, because if Pop Smokes was like, I'm 40, niggas would have been like, he just an old head that like to dance. He was old in the face. You know what I'm saying? But that was because he's already living a life where he's a child soldier at that point. He went viral for getting the shit smacked out of him when he was 13, right?
He was 13 already, when that happened?
He was at 13 when they smacked him. That video. Right? So he was already in child warfare. He was at war. By time he was popping and by the time he got killed, he was already a child soldier. Them little kids in Iraq and Chirac and whatnot, them is child soldiers and whatnot. And we watched all that dysfunction. And they got rewarded for the dysfunction. And they got millions of dollars. And little Dirk still running around talking about who he killed. And King Von is a serial killer. So I'm just giving the real to real. This is the men's version. So what the fuck you think the women is about to be on?
Right.
They're stripping back the layers. So now, even if my generation want to slow down and cool down, the young niggas that was born in the year 2000 and Y2K, I can remember what I was damn near. I was in boot camp in the year 2000, right? So the babies that was born in that year, they with the shits right now. They're playing Call of Duty in the streets. So even if I and my generation just wanted to hang it up and just chill, how the hell can we do that when these dudes is running around on gremlin time? There's an infestation of young killers, and they're doing this shit like it's a video game. They don't care. They have no fear. They do it. They having shootouts in front of the police because that's what the video games. They grew up playing Call of Duty, and they're mimicking everything from the other. What's that one? Grand Theft Auto. Right. These are little gremlins, right? Super gremlins is what they call themselves, right? With military machinery, and they're literally at war with each other. So I'm like, the girls are attracted to them, to this archetype, right? We call it aesthetic nihilism. This is the new black punk star or punk rocker, or what we would call this is the new black death metal, because that's how they dressing now, right? They got the cut off t-shirts, the flared jeans, shit is ripped up, face tats, upside down cross. all of that. They went straight punk rock, death metal, all the way to Little Uzi Vert with the spikes in his hair and everything. They've crossed over, right? And it's cool. It is what it is. It's just the culture. It's just identifying youth culture, and youth culture has a proclivity to move far away from their adult generation that precedes them, and especially them old ass niggas like me, like the people they talking about me, like old ass niggas. You know,
but I mean, even the cross having, I'm 10 years apart from my youngest sibling, and we almost speak different languages. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all
So
do speak different languages.
1,000%.
Y'all are on a different frequency. Remember, they understand that mumble shit like a dog whistle. You know what I'm saying? They listen to the little yeet in them niggas like, oh shit, did you hear what he just said? I'm like, that nigga just grunted. I didn't hear nothing. Like my son playing his fucking Bluetooth, and I'm offended. I'm like, what am I hearing? And he hears
it's
something
scary.
that I
don't know
hear.
how the parents deal with it, because I'm only a sibling and I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable.
Well, the good thing about it is that the parents are young. The reason why I was telling the 80s babies and especially the 90s babies that they're legends, because I'm like, nigga, my peers are your parents. Y'all are the children of the parents that was having children young. I know you niggas. I went to school with your mama. She had you at 13. Y'all listen to the same music, bro. Y'all into the same shit, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Your father was a gangster. We came up together robbing and shit. And yeah, you're 30, bro. Like I gotta keep in mind who these children are. So we responsible for them because we fucked their lives up. You know what I mean? We fed them a lot of dysfunction.
Yeah,
we did.
I definitely feel like y'all
Them niggas,
generation in the last.
we fucked them up big
Yeah.
time. We're
Was like
responsible.
Gen
I take
X?
full blame. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did a fucking. We did a date.
Mhm.
We did a round on y'all, bro.
But the worst part about it, I feel like where things dropped off is so much knowledge was handed down to y'all that stopped there.
Because we started listening to NWA, we said fuck that shit. We threw all that out. I'm giving you the fucking skinny. It's on us. We did that. We said fuck that shit. We put all of that on the back burner. I be trying to give people the history lessons. I be like, it was us to receive the information. They gave it to us. The rappers were teaching us in the 80s. And then we got the books from Dr. York. We got a lot of shit. The fact that I'm here teaching is a miracle, right? I was able to get my shit together and decide to get back on the fucking hamster wheel. And now I'm doing community service, teaching people. People be thinking, nigga, this part of my bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the from the multiverse. Yeah, this probation for fucking up. But it was my generation that dropped the ball and said that we instead of teaching y'all, we exploited y'all. We did that.
You know, even I mean, I don't want to drag him, but even with Dr. York, it was like then he had that secret life going on. You know what I mean? So it's like the messenger. Do you take the message from the messenger? You know, because we're in an era now where the messenger is just as important as the message.
Right, but it wasn't back then.
Yeah. So maybe that was a problem. Maybe that was a problem.
We didn't live in the age of voyeurism back then like that. The R. Kelly tape was our introduction into the private life of a mega star, superstar, and what they do in secret. Because him having sex is one thing. Him urinating is secret. That's the kink. You understand what I'm talking about? Do you understand how those veils get lifted? Because when you see something that you can't unsee it, and now it starts an insatiable appetite to see things like that. So, of course, we're going to go into a future where you're going to see the secret life of all of your stars. It's going to be pulled up like Tubi.
And now they just coming out telling you they like to be peed on and pooped on.
No, I'm just saying, but you're going to be able to pull that up soon. It's going to be accessible. because everybody's being recorded and
Because with the
filmed
glasses
anyway.
and all that, you just gonna be able
Well,
to
the glasses is
see
one
all.
thing.
Yeah.
It's your phone. Your phone is filming you. You know what I mean? Like they have files and dossiers on everybody. So people will pay top dollar to see a sexy red sex tape before it leaked. People are paying $1 million to see a Nicki Minaj sex tape or Cardi B. I promise you. There's a market for that.
For sure.
Motherfuckers will pay top dollars to see one of these rap niggas in sexual. They want to see the private and the secret. They want that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are merchants out there who are banking on that $1 billion industry, right? And what they're doing is they're seeding the culture with incidents like the sexy red leak. It was uploaded on her account. Nobody leaked, you know what I mean? So they're seeding it. So it becomes a norm. And now children are going to have to be required to have a sex tape before they get signed in about 2 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, look, your little girls, little innocent young women going to be like, we need to see you getting done off by 4 men at once before you think about getting lit. No, I'm just saying, if nobody stops that shit, if nobody fuck that,
it's just gonna be part of the rollout.
It's gonna be part of the rollout.
I can see that.
There has to be, and it can't be Erica Badu saying something. It can't be the obvious. It has to be the opposites. It has to be the law of the opposite. Somebody who's not expected to say something gonna have to be like, all right, there's a level. There has to be a line that we have to draw. Because the men they've torn the fabric so far that you can't blame women for not having any breaks right now.
But has there been any? I can't think of any male equivalent where somebody came out and said it's not cool no more. In terms of what happened to.
Yeah, but Farrakhan's not the opposite.
The opposite, right? Like thinking of like, I guess both. It needs to happen across the culture for somebody to come out and just say like, we're not doing this no more. And I personally, I think it would only take something catastrophic happening to where it's not even mentally time to.
You know what the law of the opposite was? Change clothes in 444. He was the opposites. He wasn't expected to tell niggas to grow up. He wasn't the one on the bingo card that everybody would have said it's time to man up, marry your whiz, and get your business right, and stop talking about selling crack. He's Nas more so would be expected, but they told him he was preaching. He's the law. He's practicing the law of the opposites. Keep that in mind. He has more effect with his trinkets and with his W's that people can observe, and they're willing to listen to anything that he says. He could start a war. He could really make black men really get their fucking business in order if he wanted to, and say it the right way.
In a way, he kind of has. I guess I didn't even think about that and bringing that up.
Because
a lot of black men I know bring up 444 as like, we needed this.
Once again, like I said, my generation.
And Nipsey was that too, I guess, right?
Definitely, but he's not here. So that message is not nobody's caretaking that message. It's not easy to interpret the way it was. Even when he was here, his message wasn't really being felt like that. He wasn't, you know what I mean? People who fucked with him,
right?
He was considered underground, right? He was not mainstream. But with Jay, my generation, and I'm not saying my generation is special, right? The 70s is not the 80s, right? And the 80s is not the 90s. The 90s, the parents of the 90s are the 70s babies,
right?
And the 80s babies, they were born into the culture, right? They're different. They have the spirit of hip hop already infused in them. They born lit. You know what I mean? They don't have poverty minds. They were born into, it's lit. It's a party going on right here. You know what I mean? Hip hop was in their household. You know what I mean? They heard hip hop in the womb. You know, they don't see things in the way that we see things from the 70s. But the people after the artists, we have artists that we listen to and we respect, and they help steer us in a certain direction. And it was definitely a Jay-Z, bro. Out of all of those artists, I could definitely, for my generation, because my generation, when you go into the boardrooms, is my generation at the table in executive positions, you know, this running shit behind the industry. Those are 70s and 60s babies that are in the black men in the executive roles in corporate America, stuff like that, from the hip hop generation. And who do they listen to? Jay-Z. Not just to listen to the rhymes. I'm talking about who's the architect that's programming the steps. It's not Nas, it's not Puffy, it's Hov. It would have been big if he was alive still, and it would have been Pac more than likely, because they had the hearts and the minds, and they were steering generations upon generations of people. Because like I was explaining earlier on the earlier show, we had less options when I was coming up about where we consumed our information and our music. We didn't have 100 channels. We didn't have a long tail. It was Sam Goody. Yeah, it was Sam Goody. What the fuck was in Tower Records, nigga? That was, well, whatever was on the shelf, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were thinking more of a monolithic tone. Like when the South was rocking with Master P, the whole South was rocking with Master P. Niggas wasn't like, nah, I ain't into none of. Nah, everybody was on it. It was a hive mind. So that hive mind coming out of New York, moving into the industry, moving all around the world, that hive mind has been programmed by individuals, not just one, but different individuals that we listen to, not politicians, not authors who write books, not actors, not athletes, rappers.
But Malcolm X kind of spoke on this too, that our culture, our community is one of the few that allows entertainers to define scholastics.
Right. That's why we separate.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good thing. No. That's not something to hold our heads up and whatnot. Like, you know, the pillar that was broken in hip hop, which is the culture, not the rap form, not the art form. That pillar was consciousness. It was enlightenment. It was leadership in a sense. They threw that shit away to get money. That was the deal or the caveat that the same people from Israel that we showed you earlier that's at war, when they were making power moves in the industry and they were shifting the whole frequency from consciousness, backpack they called it, feel good music, Queen Latifah, native tongues, kid and play, dancing and partying, house party shit, and they went straight gangster, right? They was like, you got to leave that pillar out of it. And after negotiating, they was like, throw it away. They threw KRS-One away. They threw Brand Nubian away. They threw the gods away.
Because if you go back to those archives and just listen, you don't even got to read.
You feel me? You like, what the fuck was they reading that they knew this shit? Because there wasn't no internet back then. There wasn't no documentaries back then. There wasn't like mad books. So how the fuck did they know internet level information and they were rhyming about it? I'm confused. That was Dr. York's influence. That was Father Allah with the gods and the earth's influence. That was many bookstores in New York and the East Coast and the West Coast and down south in the Midwest. And that was also, we had intellects amongst us, like men that went to war. You know, we had women who come from families where the information was passed down from mouth to ear. We had people in our community that were winos. They had bars. Like it was in the air. You feel me? You know,
just dropping gems. But that's again why I said it feels like, I mean, we already spoke on that, but also that, I mean, how do we reincorporate knowledge and information into the culture? Because it feels like there's no scholars that we look to. Like I have to go search really, really hard to find like a course or a symposium or a talk about something. Like you have to really look and want to find the knowledge and like be on time, because you can't try to look in the summer, because they're only doing that at colleges in the school season.
So,
you know what I'm saying? When I feel like it was a time when you can go somewhere in Lamert or somewhere and people be talking.
They gotta be built.
Right.
I seen the resources to do it. Build it and they will come. It just gotta be built. It could be built in the digital world first, and then it could turn into a physical node, because once again, once we master the power of what we have in our hands, right? And that's this digital, this presence that we have in the digital platform and this digital economy. Once we tap into that, we could manifest things in the physical world like this. We could shift the physical world. It's I call it the Kai Cenat effect. The Kai Cenat effect is he caused a riot because in the digital world, he made a move in the physical realm. He told them, meet me in the physical world, and that caused a riot. That's a formula. I'm stripping away all of the other inconsistencies in that, and I'm looking at the X plus Y equals boom. That's the formula. We have to garner what we're doing in this digital realm and bring it into fruition into the physical realm. That's where your solutions will end and will become. We need people with good credit. We need business plans. We live in the age of AI. Everything now could be crossed. The T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. These tools are powerful. Like they're doing the work of 100 men in one day.
True.
So we could knock out we could take ideas to prototype to concept like this. It's not hard anymore. So it's the theory of building and they will come, because it needs to be built. And we could have a 3-day conference on all of the voids that need to be filled, and then another 3 days on how to fill it. The numbers, once you have the people, you got the solution. That's out of the way. You got more than 100 people, you got the solution. You don't have to worry about crowdfunding. You don't got to worry about begging nobody. You don't got to worry about being approved for anything. You could crowdsource and crowdfund. Now that big hill that people had to climb, that's out of the way. Now we could fund our endeavors. Once you could fund your endeavors, now you open up contracts with vendors, and you get to building with contractors, and you cut tapes and ropes and ribbons, and you open up and just do what you say that you're going to do, document it, make it available for the people who are invested into it to have, access to it. And you'll be able to grow exponentially. You'll take that shit and grow and take it anywhere around the world, plant that seed and grow it. Because we're in an era now where you could take organic ideas and actually flesh them out into real businesses in the span of a few hours. Mm-hmm. We live in a world where we could go to an island where the cost of living is very, quote unquote, minimal. And as long as we have Wi-Fi access, we could basically be running multiple $1 million businesses where our faces aren't even shown on the business. They don't even know that Rep Hill is behind the business, but I could be functioning a quote unquote catering business. I could be functioning an online food business, and I don't even know how to cook. And I could be running an operation where Uber Eats and DoorDash and all of them is picking up food for me every day to ship it to people. Shit like that. We live in these days and times. So I think we perish for a lack of knowledge, and we also are distracted heavenly. It's the distractions that's killing us. When I took my phone and put it down the day that they said that there was going to be some type of EMF thing going on, I just turned the modem of the computer. I unplugged the modem. I turned off every device in the house, and we kept our devices off to 6 p.m. I literally wrote the equivalent to a book. And I woke up with ideas pouring down.
And I didn't stop writing in the journal from that day. I was just pouring ideas. We have to take a digital detox and leave this shit alone. It's not serving us. It's not real. The matrix is not real. It has its purpose. But this
For
blue
the
light,
babies, is so real though.
Oh yeah, it is real for them because if you try to take a
It's
phone
so
away,
real.
because
you know,
it's an addiction.
it's a high addiction. Yeah,
Yes.
It's the
addiction.
dopamine effect. They're addicted to digital opiates.
They're
They
also
will
addicted to the
fucking
blue
stab
light.
you. They will stab you. But guess what's realer
They
to the
will.
babies than the devices?
Love. Family.
Yeah, grounding, outside,
They
other children
parents.
playing with
Yeah.
them, going on a nature trail. We gotta balance that out. They need to be able to play outside. They need to be able to get in that sun at least 30 minutes. Nobody's gonna say that they can't be on the tablets and they can't be on this quote unquote, but there has to be some type of balance until they go full Android.
But what I'm noticing is that it's the parents because
It is the parents.
I was gonna
it's
say
not the
that.
children. The children, if you
Yeah, the
go
parents trying to get
yeah.
you to come outside.
I was kicked out. You need to be outside.
Right.
Too.
The parents, the children is like, can you get off the phone? I'm gonna keep it a buck. My son will come in my office and be like, he'll point to the window outside. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go out for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, because the parents be addicted.
We addicted.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
addicted. We wrapped up. We letting the motherfucking devices raise the children while we deal with
Yeah.
our addictions. You know what I mean? We sitting there scrolling with our fucking mouths open, eating comfort foods, you know, and just, you know, being lost in multi dimensions. Everything, everywhere,
All at once.
all at once. Are you mentally stable enough to go to all of these dimensions at once? You over there at Gaza looking at bodies getting bulldozed. Then you watching the war in Ethiopia. Then you watching the abductions in Ohio. Then you think that take that Puffy going to jail for killing Tupac. Then you seeing girls fight over there on the Breakfast Club. Then you seeing the shit with the reality shows. Are you mentally well put together to take in all of those worlds at once? You got to ask yourself that. And these are just people with regular habits of eating, right? Regular consumption habits of just regular trash television. What about people who have irregular eating habits?
Like the people who
TV
already have
never
the big
goes off.
addictions. Yeah.
Right. And they need to see the darker things. They on the dark web. They're on the dark side of the moon. What about those people? Right? I'm on New York City public transit. I could feel the energy of certain people and could tell if they're on the dark side or not. If I could tell what kind of consumption they're consuming just based off of their auras.
Yeah. Well, it's feeding into people's lack of like control.
But
Yeah,
if
you
you
see a lot of
have a
people that don't have
device,
control.
right? There's men masturbating on the trains and on the airplanes and shit like that. There's a rapper
Yeah.
that just they got caught doing it. Designer, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have no self-control and they just gave you the world in your hands, but nobody taught you that men's supposed to master their lower self. They told you there's a sexual liberation movement going on. So men is confused. They like, so what that mean? Can I beat off in public? Because shorty she naked. She walking down the street with the slut walks.
I've been fully clothed in a turtleneck on the subway and got jacked off next to me, so they don't make no difference.
I'm just saying, that's right. It don't matter anymore. So once again, when men who have phalluses do not have control of that nuclear weapon, and when they're not taught that you are supposed to practice self-mastery as the number one principle, then societies can't stand. Y'all in trouble. So men will not do anything against the prostitute whole culture because they were wearing their pants down off their asses.
Yeah, they sexually
started it.
So it's gonna have to be women then. Then maybe it's women that have to take control.
It started with them. They are sexually undisciplined. So they want naked women outside. They need sexy red. They need the stripper whole culture. That's what this is on brand for them. They're not going to stop you.
And I think I could end it at that.
Yeah, you've been on this
Saturday.
one for a minute. I feel like the last
Saturday
3
Night
videos
Live.
have been like, but it's needed. It's needed.
I'm just because I realize I have to flesh it out as much as possible. You know, it starts out the way that it starts out, and then it makes sense as it gets fleshed out, because you know we got to reason this thing. And one thing that I do know, I don't think logically. I'm not a logical thinker, but we have a lot of people are. I'm left-handed, right? So my approach to things may be completely different, but once again, the law of opposites. It may be my left-handed approach that may help your right-handed way of seeing things versus the way that a right-handed person been trying to help you see things. You feel me? Because this shit is not hard to see, but it's easy to look down the line and tell what's coming down the motherfucking line. You know, if nothing is said about it. So at least I'll go on record saying, nigga, on this date, October 7th, when Israel was at war, nigga, I was saying something. I was demystifying the shit that y'all think is lit because it's feeding your lower fucking self and your root chakra, and it's tickling your fancy. And you think because it's doing that it's supposed to be something that you roll with, not realizing that you still failing that test. Because the test is to have your fancy tickled, but you're still supposed to resist the urge. So the shit is always going to be there to tease you into quote unquote, because people are being upset because they're losing the war. That's the only reason why they're upset with the sexy Asuki Red around them, if they can't win that war. That's the only reason I hate those women. Like Charleston Red said that he hated her. I'm like, how could you hate her?
Yeah, that's a bit much.
But you got to watch out for people to use that word hate, because that's deflection. When you say that you hate her, that must mean that she defeated you in some kind of way. Her frequency, right? Her frequency of what she represents. She represents undisciplinedness to man. But if you could stand around a sexy red and not be tempted, if you could just talk to her and look her in her eye and not be tempted to be a fucking ratchet to buy into all of that, if you could just let her be her, because if I interview her, I would let her be her honest self. I wouldn't judge that woman.
Yeah, you tap into her humanity.
No, in this sense, you think of an interview that Rich just had with, I think, the dude from Public Enemy. He was saying that he met Tupac several times and he didn't drink or smoke, so he wasn't on that vibe, but he never judged him. They just never.
Yeah.
Once he linked, it's like, yo, what's up?
Professor Griff. That's right.
Yeah, on his way.
Stand on your morals. Stand on your discipline, right? Because if Professor Griff got around Tupac and he couldn't resist Tupac, and then he started smoking and drinking, when he talked about Tupac later in life, he'd probably be like, F that dude, I don't like him. But you folded, not Tupac. You see the difference? But because Professor Griff is who he is and he's able to stand on business, he's able to give Tupac his flowers and be like, that's my guy right there. Because although I don't smoke and drink and he does, we've still been able to see eye to eye, because I walked away with my dignity and he walked away with his. You see, I'm not imposing myself or my ways on you. I'm not making you acquiesce to my power. I'm making you feel like you could be genuinely you and coexist around me and my world, right? And not feel like you have to be a part of my world. That's peace. Men of power know how to do that. This is what gangsters are able to do. You could be amongst a gangster and he could make the most meekest person feel safe. Remember, the gangsters are always kind to women and children, right? But they could be some of the most darkest, meanest, most heinous people when they go to war and when they got to get busy, them fangs come out. But they say a powerful man is able to show mercy. A coward always walks around with an iron fist and he never shows mercy, because that person is scared and they're not powerful. That's just fear. We got to learn the difference. So knowing these artists are powerful, or these people that you look at as celebrities and whatnot, know the difference between power and fear. Those who show compassion, those who show mercy, when they could really be stepping on shit and they really could be hurting things, but they show mercy because a person with power, the real power is in mercy. I'm going to spare your life. I could take it with a finger snap. I'm going to let you live. That's power, you know? So yeah, we not the whole thing that I see with Israel. I don't see power. I see fear. I see bullies, you know? I see people that are not compassionate. So for all of the people who are, you know, working against those imperialistic, colonialistic, you know, parasitical forces that are out there, I don't care what name they go under. I don't care what nation or what flag they belong to. You know what I'm talking about. Shout out to all of those people who push back, you know, what they call the resistance. So with that being said, I want to thank you too for your time and your energy. And we will continue these conversations. We'll be back on Melanin Mondays. And tomorrow on Patreon will be class number 2 for our AI class. Anybody who wants to get ahead and wants to tap into this new movement of resources, tools, and power, please tap into the Patreon, sign up to the SATURN membership or the Rainbow Opal if you just want to take one class. And then on Wednesday, we'll have class number 2 with our good brother Ross Ben. He's going in on the Dogon mysteries. He's fleshing that out. All right. So with that being said, we're going to end it. Peace and love. We're going to end it with the Red Opals video. All right. We'll see you. Peace and love.
I come down into the real world from the clouds. I exist in the clouds. Now they see me out the country. It's Red Pill. He's real. He came down from the clouds. Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, toward the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave. We leaving a stain, fuck up for breeze. Running the banks, causing a crashing. Feathered the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red is the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a bright lean. The hunger was biting, biting.
Do not allow anything to take you down into the real world from the clouds. I exist in the clouds. Now they see me out the country. It's Red Pill. He's real. He came down from the clouds. Right.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking the gumbo. Few blocks before green, yeah, up in the jungle, coking the bundles. It's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands. I'm riding in vans, slide through your land. Hopping the sprinters, toward the underworld, popping the mentor. Land of the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. What do you mean? We up it and squeeze, tuck it and leave. We leaving a stain, fuck up for breeze. Running the banks, causing a crashing. Feathered the feds, Moorish the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Wave on 4-4, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the benches, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red as the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning, flooded a brightling. The hunger was biting, biting.
Do not allow anything to take you off of your square. It's the same thing like what we see right here. Yeah, it's cloudy, yeah, it's misty, but it ain't gonna stay like that forever.